You just said that the FBI was trying to intervene with Twitter on Biden's behalf in order to kill that story. Donald Trump was the president, you stupid motherfucker.
One and all to yet another episode of WIC TV. It's a cross-ideological space where we come together to talk about issues both political and cultural, from the silly to the serious. And gang, have we got a show for you tonight? We're going to be talking about whether or not Trump is the greatest threat to free speech that we've seen in America in a generation. Many on the right were very critical of Biden and his alleged attacks on free speech, though many free speech organizations today are very critical of Trump, even more so. When Stephen Colbert reported that CBS lawyers had called him and told him not to air his interview with Democratic primary candidate for Senate, James Tallarico, I figured it was a good time to talk about this again. The FCC recently changed their rules on equal time and how they interpret those things. And apparently, according to the FCC chairman, they will be going forward not allowing the bona fide news interview exception for late night talk shows. But we got a lot to talk about, a lot to go forward with, a lot to go over, and I'm glad we're all here. I'm going to give the mic first to Destiny, and then we'll just kind of go around the room and we'll see what we got. Destiny, what are your opening thoughts on this? Go ahead.
I mean, I think Trump is weaponizing different parts of the executive branch in ways that we've never seen before, whether that's with direct requests to FCC commissioners to deplatform, late night hosts that he doesn't like, whether that's the insane weaponization of the DOJ to file ridiculous indictments against political opponents or prior political opponents, whether that's weaponizing the DNI and the FBI to go after Georgia because he wants to prove that he won 2020. I mean, the unlimited number of statements that Trump has made attacking the media, saying he won't take he won't take questions from fake news CNN and all these things. It's just, we've never seen a president so brazen, so lawless, and so anti-freedom of speech for people that he has political disagreements as we've seen with Donald Trump.
Okay, thank you for being here. Steelborn, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I think in order to demonstrate that Trump's the greatest threat to free speech we've seen in a generation, we'd have to actually establish a standard of what a threat is to that and then make sure it's consistently held.
Well, what would your idea of a threat be, and what would it take to be consistently held?
Well, so unfortunately, the burden of proof here is actually on Destiny and Dev. They're the ones making the claim.
People.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I was in the washroom.
Dev, what are your thoughts here? Go ahead.
Okay, so I didn't know who the two of you guys were, so I decided to go check out your channel a bit before we started. No offense. And so I decided to kind of figure out who you were a bit and then write down a little bit of maybe how we can build a bridge here. So when we talk about what liberal values are, I generally look at two liberal political theorists like Arendt or Popper. I think we can distill down 4 broad values from their work. So you have freedom of expression, which covers free speech, free press, open inquiry and debate; freedom of conscience, which covers religious and political affiliation; freedom of association, which puts the consent of the individual at the center of relationships rather than familial duty or other forms of duty like feudalism; and then you have constitutionalism, which doesn't mean having a constitution. It means limitations on state power. The idea that the government should not be able to do some things. The law should apply to all equally. This sort of stuff. These 4 values have a lot of overlap, and I think free speech has a foot in each one of these domains. So when I started doing political content on YouTube, it was during Gamergate, and I was very pro Gamergate.
Just as a heads up, there's probably going to be no conversation of substance on this. The other 2 guys are going to do the internal critique for the next 2 hours or until I rage quit.
Views, meaning they didn't value freedom of expression. They didn't value freedom of association. They didn't value freedom of conscience. The Aeneas Sarkeesian feminist types, the Vosh-style bread tuber types in 2019, these guys were all fucking cancerous. They all violated these liberal principles. And so I have a reputation of being anti-SJW or anti-leftist, or I guess anti-woke, we might call it now. And it's for all of those reasons that I completely oppose Trump in every single possible way. Because for as cringe and as nannying as the leftists were, they didn't ever hold any real political power. They weren't in the government. Trump going after late night TV hosts, going after the seditious 6 for saying, don't follow illegal orders, suing pollsters for polls he doesn't like, going after journalists, all of these things are far worse than what the illiberal left did. Because the illiberal left did not control the state. There were like overreaches in like universities. I remember, fire alarms being pulled on Milo and Sargon and Lauren Southern and everyone else back in the 2010s. There was censorship on social media. None of this is the same level as Trump directing the government to do it. So I already know where you guys might go with some of this stuff, because I was involved in the anti-SJW stuff. I know the leftist examples you're going to pull out, and Trump is worse than all of them.
Okay, well, thank you for that. We're going to get into it, I'm sure, as we go. We got a last-minute fill-in. I guess Stillborn's buddy is a no-show, so we're going to mark that down for later. Teriak, is that how you say your name, sir?
Yep.
Okay, what do you
Teriak.
got? What are your thoughts on this? Is Trump the greatest threat to free speech that we've seen in a generation? Why or why not? Go ahead.
No, and because I don't see like anything different that he's done from any of the different presidents. From an outsider, to say that Trump is a threat to free speech because he shit talks some TV hosts, I don't see the rationale here. And then even just like the fact that he's back and forth with the press, like that's what you want with your president. You want your press to go hard on the president. You want the president to go hard on that. That's how you get to the truth. So the fact that there's like disagreements, I don't see how that's limitations of free speech. And if there's a thing of like, oh, but like he's preventing me from saying like what I want to say, it's like, but if there's certain things that you might want to say that free speech doesn't protect. So we have to make sure that we apply onto that line. So like I said, outrageous claims need outrageous evidence to back them up.
Okay, well, thank you for being here last minute. I do appreciate that. And thank you.
Appreciate the fill-in, Teriak.
Yes. Okay, with that, let's open up the floor and let's see how this shit show goes. It's been a day, gang. So here we are. Go ahead.
So I guess
Dustin.
my first question would be, can we think of a single example as egregious as Donald Trump suing pollsters for polls that he doesn't like that's happened in the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years in terms of an attack on our media or press from the president?
Well, how is suing pollsters an attack on free speech?
What do you think?
I don't think that'd be an attack on free speech. You can sue somebody for people file ridiculous lawsuits constantly.
What did that have to do with what
I mean,
I
you
just
would
said?
agree with that, too.
Wait. What did that have to do with what I just said?
Well, the idea that it's supposed to be a threat to free speech because he sues a pollster, I don't see how that's a threat to free speech. I mean, maybe you could say it's stupid or he's
Why
a
don't
dick
you
for
steelman it? Why don't you steelman it for me?
How do you want me to
You asked
steelman
the
a question?
I want you
It
to
wasn't an argument,
steelman
it was
how
a
the
question.
president of the United States, who's in control of major mergers, who's in control of who gets indicted, I want you to steelman for me how him suing pollsters that release polls that he doesn't like might be a threat to free speech. I want you to try to steelman that for
Can you
me.
just do me a favor? Can you provide any
To make
No,
your
guys, this is
argument
not a
for
real-
you.
No, because this is not a real question, and if we're gonna be this stupid right off the bat, then this conversation is pointless. If it's
Being
not
this-
a
I'm
well,
asking
here,
you to
if it's not
provide
if
a
it's not
citation
if it's
of
not a
what
threat
you're
if
talking about.
it's not a
So-
threat to free speech,
so,
then you should be able to give any
real
example
quick.
of something that's worse for free speech
Yeah.
than the president suing a pollster for a poll that he doesn't like.
You do realize you're just saying is like, I want you to make my argument for me.
No, I'm not. My argument is relatively self-evident. I can walk through the whole thing if you want. There is a massive
Yeah.
chilling effect that's made on the media or people who are doing polls if they feel like the president of the United States, who's also weaponized the investigatory and arrest part of the executive branch towards political enemies, if that guy is filing civil lawsuits against you because he doesn't like a poll that you made, I think that creates a chilling effect on people that work in media, on people that do polls, which is a threat to our freedom of speech because you have the right to poll people and publish the results of those polls.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you
sure,
also
I'll
think that
disagree.
people should be afraid.
How
Hold
was
on.
that responsive to what I just said?
Because you're the one that's
Wait,
have
no, wait,
make
no,
claims
wait.
that conservatives have
wait,
to
why
be
did you just pivot?
afraid. No,
I
because this
gave
is your
you-
standard,
I
Disney.
gave you no, hold on. You
Yeah.
told me to walk you through the most self-evident claim in the world, and I just wasted my time doing it. Now I want you to respond to that without pivoting to some other completely irrelevant thing.
I'm not pivoting. I'm giving you a standard to compare against.
I don't
You're
need a
saying
standard
that
to compare it
because
against. You asked
Donald
me
Trump,
to explain
one
the
sec,
thing. I
because
explained
Donald
the thing,
Trump
and I want
sued
you
a
to
bunch of
tell me
pollsters,
whether you agree or
that's-
disagree that that's a
that's-
threat to freedom of
yeah.
speech.
because Trump sued a bunch of pollsters. I'm just trying to clarify your position. You're saying that because Trump sued a bunch of pollsters, now these pollsters are in fear
That that creates a
of free
chilling
speech,
effect.
losing free,
Yes.
free speech.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why do you want the same thing for conservatives?
How is that responsive to anything we're talking about?
Because if you're saying that conservatives should be in
Okay, go
fear
to
of
the
their
other
life
guy.
when
Go
they
to the
go
other
to
guy. This
events,
guy's
for
fucking
one
retarded.
thing.
This guy's retarded.
Yeah,
What does the other
because
guy
you
have to
don't. Yeah, you don't have a consistent standard. That's what
Do
I'm
you
pointing
think?
out.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with a consistent standard. I'm not the president of the United States.
It
and I
is.
don't control the DOJ. Do you recognize that?
Yeah, but we're all under
Do
the
you
same laws,
recognize
correct?
that I'm not? No, we don't have the same capabilities. My ability to chill speech by suing somebody is not the same as the president of the United States who's weaponizing a DOJ. Can I weaponize the Department of Justice or a local prosecutor? Do I control any of those things?
Yeah, like you
Do I
can
control a local?
as a collective.
I'm not a collective, am I?
Yes,
I am. I am a collective.
you can be.
Okay.
You
Back
can
to the
be.
president. Can you think of another president that has weaponized his ability to sue people, that's done something that is as much a threat to freedom of speech as suing pollsters for polls that he doesn't like? Can you think of another example of another president, because that's what we're talking about, a president that's done that?
I'm not sure how that's a threat to free
Okay, so
speech.
you can't. Can the other guy? I'll take the W on the topic, and then we can talk about other shit if they want.
Steelborn, what do you think?
Yeah, so you want to so you're asking if I can think of any example of any president doing anything that would be as chilling to the
Sure.
populace, the media. Okay, that's what I want to make sure.
First of all, wait. Do you agree that suing the pollsters that's creating a chilling effect on free speech for no valid reason, right?
No, I'm not going to grant your psychological report of how it makes you feel when the president sues people. I'm just not going to do that.
Okay, then this
Exactly.
conversation is point. Then nothing can chill free speech, right? You agree with that, right? Give me one example of a
Nothing
thing.
can chill free speech.
Correct. Yeah.
How about people being arrested for saying stuff? I mean, like, wouldn't that be
Wait,
more
you can't write
chilling to
letters.
free speech?
You can't write letters in jail. So you're wrong there. Can you give me another example besides being arrested?
Hold on.
Can you
How
give me
about
another
writing
example?
letters?
I don't
No,
accept
can
that.
you be-
I don't
like,
accept that. I don't
wouldn't
accept
you
that.
agree
I don't
that'd be
accept
more
your
chilling?
psychological framing. No. You said it would. You said before that suing somebody doesn't keep them from talking, or you're not going to buy the psychological thing, whatever.
I'm
Fine.
sorry. Are you
So
more or
arresting
less
somebody,
free in jail, Destiny?
If you have free speech, you can write letters. Some of the most famous letters of all time
you
have been
st-
written
are you
from
more or
prison. Do you know
less-
Nelson Mandela? Have you ever heard of these
So
serial
we
killers
can
who wrote
lock you
letters?
up, but you can
Wait,
talk
you can-
instead of free
you can-
speech.
so-
Okay, just
so
to be
let me
clear,
make sure-
just to be clear,
This is
please,
every debate with conservatives
This has
now.
been
Yeah.
a debacle, okay, so far. But we're going to get into it. We're going to make content anyway because I'm here to do that. So Steelborn, what he's saying is that
Wait,
the
no, what? You don't have
threat-
to. Why do you have to translate? They know what I'm saying. You just can't defend
Do
it. It's
they? I
indefensible.
don't know. Okay,
Yeah, it's
go ahead.
indefensible, of course.
Yeah, so from Destiny's standard, because you can write letters from jail, you're just as free to speak in jail as you are outside of jail. That's literally what you just said in response to what I said. Because I asked, wouldn't you like? Don't you think it'd be more chilling if people were like arrested for saying stuff? Like I could think that'd be more chilling than the president suing pollsters.
Okay, can you give an example of the president arresting somebody for arbitrary reasons for speech they don't like?
Well, no, your question was, can I think of anything more chilling to free speech?
For an unjustified
Wouldn't
reason.
that be more chilling?
There has to be a lack of justification. Executing somebody is the ultimate silencing of speech, but there are reasons why we have capital punishment. So it has to be for an unjustified reason, right?
Yeah, I can just even grade that it could be enough for an unjustified reason, but wouldn't it? I'm trying to figure out how exactly. I'm trying to figure out the exact way I want to
Because
frame
you have the
this.
mental
So, like,
gymnastics through the most obvious fucking question in the world. Can you think of a president that's done something more egregious, more chilling to a population than showing that he will sue a pollster for releasing a poll he doesn't like?
Yeah, I actually think that I can. I can think about how about a government entity or official actually cracking down and putting at least not unofficial pressure on social media platforms to get them to increase the type of content that they monitor.
Really? Can you give me an example of that?
Like Mark Zuckerberg's testimony in front of the House committee about the fact that he had officials within the Biden administration who were actually placing, or they were kind of like, not really, I wouldn't say placing, but they were kind of pressuring him into increasing the different restrictions that Meta was applying to content.
And what happened when Facebook didn't do any of that?
Facebook did do that.
They didn't follow through on every single suggestion. Same thing with Twitter. They
Not
didn't
every
follow through
single
on every
suggestion, but they did follow through.
So
Yeah.
And then
Wait a sec.
after Biden was out of office, guess what? They lifted a bunch of those restrictions. Interesting how that works.
Wait, why would you assume that they lifted restrictions because Biden left, but not because there was new pressure from the Trump administration? The same platforms, by the way, that were being sued by Trump, all of them, because his accounts got banned. Why would you assume more pressure from the? I'm sorry, hold on, just check.
Yeah, okay,
Did the
so-
Biden administration
no, I
sue
disagree
any
with
of these
the
other
frame.
social media platforms?
You don't think that would?
Wait.
Hold on, one at a
I
time.
want a yes or no to that. Did Biden sue any of the social media companies like Donald Trump sued them for his account being banned?
Yeah. What was the justification for them
Did
banning
Biden
his
sue
platform?
any of the? Did Biden sue any of the social media platforms the same way?
No,
that
and it
President
doesn't even
Trump
hurt my
did? Thank you.
position.
Okay,
What
no,
was
I
Trump
didn't,
suing
he
them
said no
for?
problem admitting that because he said it was a violation of his First Amendment rights for his account to be banned.
You don't think that banning, like off the most major platforms that are available to the public and to government officials, that banning the presidential candidate would not be, would not have a massive effect on that?
It can,
on
but
the public's
remember,
opinion?
the qualifier here is with justification. Do you think that you should be
And
able
what
to
was the justification that Meta gave for banning him?
for probably
The
related to the
president, by the way.
J6 stuff for inciting violence?
Was that ever demonstrated in a court?
You don't have to demonstrate something in a court to ban somebody from Twitter or from Facebook.
Well, hold on. Was he ever charged with insurrection?
You don't
and,
have to
found guilty
ban
of that?
somebody for a charge, for a criminal charge. If you were to spam on Twitter, you'll get banned for it. You don't have to be charged with a crime of spam.
Well, yes, but if that's the justification, that it was because he was talking about January 6th a lot.
No, it's because he incited January 6th. That's why they banned him. And it was after he left office, so he wasn't even president when they banned him.
Yes, but he was still. Everybody knew that he was still going. Or at least it was very likely that he was going to be the
So now you can't be
upcoming candidate
banned
for
from
the
a social
Republican
media
Party.
platform if it's likely you're going to run for office?
No, not likely that you're going to run for office. Okay, and also, has the former president ever been banned from a social media platform?
No, but the former president has usually incited a riot to try to overturn an
Okay.
election.
Okay, so incited a
Yeah,
riot.
okay,
but now it's not
so-
an insurrection.
so
Got
it's-
it.
Yeah. Yeah, so like
Inciting
this
a
is
riot
this is what I'm
to-
saying,
to- to
deceptive
disrupt a
framing. So
government process
Donald
is called
Trump
an
is not
insurrection,
Donald Trump is not suing protesters because he didn't like what they say. He's suing protesters because they committed fraud.
Where? What?
Or sorry, pollsters, not protesters.
He has
pollsters.
no evidence of any
just
of
woke
that
up.
fraud at all, and fraud would be a criminal charge. So why? Would he
Okay,
use the
so how
DOJ?
do you? Okay, if there's no evidence, okay, how do you know what's in his head?
Because I listened to the words he says and I watched the way that he acts, and these cases were dismissed, and they didn't give any evidence of fraud.
Yeah, so the whole charge was fraud.
No, he was
And you're just saying
suing
they
them.
have
He
no
was
evidence.
Suing them.
Wait,
because-
wait. So
No, because
hold
one
on a
sec. I'm
Hold on,
highlighting the
Gary.
fact that you framed this already that Trump's going after free speech. That's why he's going after these posters. But the posters after going after, they're reporting that Kamala's ahead by 3 points when Trump actually won by 13 points. So
It's
they
a
were way
poll.
far, like they
Yeah,
were
it's a
completely
poll.
off.
Being
They were
wrong is
completely
not a
off
crime.
with their. Yeah. But if you're fraudulently putting these polls out to try and influence the
What was
election,
the evidence of the
that
fraud?
would
What
be
was
fraud.
the evidence of the fraud?
That would
What was
be
the
fraud.
evidence
No,
of the
but I
fraud?
just want you to agree with
What
that.
was the
That
evidence
would
of
be
the
fraud, though, Destiny, wouldn't it?
If they were,
That would be
I
fraud.
guess if they were making shit up, yeah, but there was no evidence of that.
Yeah, okay. That's all. So we'll have to let the courts decide, though, because
They
we
already
don't
have.
know,
The
correct?
case was dismissed.
Yeah.
Okay, the case was
But, like,
dismissed. Then how was it a
yeah.
chilling effect on free speech if the court said, "Nah, you're
Yeah.
not doing this"?
Then how is Facebook being chilled by
Exactly.
the Biden administration when nobody was even sued or nobody was even criminally pursued?
We're giving you a counterexample of Biden.
Yeah, your
You're the one that's
counterexample
making the
failed
positive
because your
claim. One sec,
counterexample didn't
Destiny.
involve a court
You're the
case.
one that's making the positive claim
Oh my
that Trump is
God.
the one that's trying to
All
put
right,
the
go
chilling
for it, Dev.
speech on it. And like you said, the courts dismissed the case. So how is it a chilling thing? How are you afraid?
Dev, you got
Okay.
him. Go for it.
Dev.
Good luck.
Okay. Okay. Here, real quick, guys. Real quick. Do you guys think that it was coercive for the government to ask Twitter to censor the Hunter Biden laptop story?
Could you repeat the question? I want to make sure I understand the question.
Sure. Do you think it was coercive for the government to ask Twitter to censor the Hunter Biden laptop story?
Yes.
Okay. So, if that's the case, then how is it that all of Trump's moves against journalists and pollsters and a whole bunch of different people, as the head of the government, is not also at least equally coercive, if not more so?
Well, I can grant that it's at least equally coercive.
But not more so, you think?
Well, no, and I don't think it's more so coercive, and here's why. Because at least if Trump holds this standard that he's going to pressure people, isn't he very open and explain and gives his reasonings behind this, or at least says what he's doing, and admits to doing it when it comes to pressuring media and stuff
you
like
know
that?
what? I guess he does. He does openly state that he's going to be doing these things. But I mean, the topic of the debate is Trump the greatest threat to free speech that we've seen in a generation? If Trump's just admitting he's going to do these things, it does kind of help our case.
I don't see how it even helps your case because
No.
so let me ask you something real quick. Would you say that if let's say Trump established a part of the federal government that was actually tasked with monitoring dissident information or misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, something like that? Do you think that would be more coercive towards media outlets, people groups, or whatever? That would be incredibly coercive for them to do that, right?
Isn't he already doing that? I mean, he's doing it with the various protesters happening right now in Minnesota.
No. I'm saying creating a government body that is tasked with dealing with these types of things like disinformation and misinformation.
Okay. Well, it depends. Because here's the thing, right? Like, if it's actually real disinformation, it's actually good to censor that, is it not? Like, if someone's actually lying, shouldn't you clamp down on that?
Well, hold on. So let's make sure that we're clear on the terms. What's the distinction between dis and misinformation from your view? I want to make sure we agree on what that means.
From what I understand, oh god, I forget which one is which, but one of them basically means you're mistaken, and one of them
Misinformation
basically means
is
that
like you're
lying.
wrong about things, probably to a reckless or careless degree, maybe, and then disinformation is usually referring to foreign actors, but it could be domestic ones who are like lying intentionally.
Yeah, like I would agree. Okay, so I'd agree that disinformation would be intentionally lying. Yeah. So how about just for handling misinformation? Should we censor misinformation, and should the president or the government try to censor misinformation?
Depends exactly what it is. There could be some forms of misinformation that, even if it's done in good faith, are highly toxic and destructive. It really just depends.
Like maybe around
Yeah, no,
public
I mean,
health.
that's-
Like maybe around
the-
public health, maybe.
There's also noble lies as well.
Well,
correct?
real quick, Destiny, do you agree with that standard?
That what? Repeat it again?
That there actually could be certain types of misinformation that might want to be like, at least not, I wouldn't say censored, but at least the government could come out and say publicly, like, this is wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
We're going, you shouldn't be saying this kind of stuff. Okay. So you agree with me then that, trying to put a kibosh on misinformation by publicly stating and declaring that this is false, or this is, this information is not true, or this person is intentionally lying. That could be good, but what do you think would be like, where do you think that would become an overreach?
I mean, if they were doing it without proper justification, if they were doing it, that would, and if they were using an incorrect process to determine what was true or untrue.
Okay, so yeah, so disinformation, false information shared with intent to deceive. Misinformation is false information without the intent to deceive, and then malinformation is true information that is intended to cause harm. Sometimes I don't even know. It's hard. They've been a little
Malinformation, just to give you an example,
Would be like telling
when,
somebody how to kill
they
themselves.
released that George Bush had a drunk driving incident right before the election.
Oh, just
that
kidding,
was
sorry.
information that is true, but it was meant and released in intent for malicious purposes to harm.
Yeah.
That
Now,
is
should we put a kibosh on malinformation, or should we?
No, I don't know why you would ever. That sounds ridiculous.
Okay, so we're in agreement then.
Okay, where are you going with this, buddy?
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out who's to determine what misinformation actually is and disinformation. Should that be regulated by a government body?
Depends on the type of misinformation, but for some it might be appropriate. Yeah, like the CDC or whatever would probably be in charge of health-related stuff. The FDA maybe for food and drug stuff. Like it depends on what the piece of information is.
Okay, and then how would you? So should we censor that information that comes out as misinformation?
Depends on what the justification is. If it represents a public health risk, then maybe. If you have, for instance, people who are lying about the dangers of the measles vaccine and you see that there are measles outbreaks all over the country, maybe that's worth it for the CDC or somebody to publish a statement about, or to require notices to be posted for people that are lying about it, maybe.
Well, how would you classify the food pyramid? The old food pyramid, was that malinformation or misinformation?
Or the
It's
disinformation?
just it has no relevance to this topic. What was you can continue with the next.
I'm just testing your definitions.
No, I'm good. What's the next part of the question?
You can't answer
You're not
it
going to engage?
because you're
I'm
giving
not
all these
engaging with it.
definitions.
No,
oh,
because you're not. Because this is
and then
so
they give you
boring.
an example.
Dude, Andrew
of
Wilson was a
government-
curse on the internet. You guys
How-
both pay for the course, or what?
How-
This whole endless
what do you mean?
internally critiquing everything
So
and
you can't
needlessly
answer
nitpicking
question,
every single
and now
possible thing.
you're-
What are you
okay,
talking
now
about?
you're
Can't answer
doing
questions. I already
add-ons.
given you answers. You're not going to provide any definitions or
I'm-
anything of your own. You're going to sit here and needlessly nitpick every single fucking thing we say to avoid having to argue the substance or the merits
You're
of
the
anything
one
you're
with the
talking
claim.
about. I already told you the claim. The claim
you're
is
the one with the
I already.
claim.
That's fine. But
Here
this is
we
not
go.
just a positive claim. What do you mean, here we go? What, are you exhausted already, you fucking retard? Listen, if you want to have a conversation on the substance of misinformation or disinformation, that's fine. But I'm not going
I
to play
just won't
Nirvana
go for it. I
fallacy
can
with
do
you
this all day.
24/7, where you're going to sit here and needlessly, yeah, of course you can do it all day, because you're not actually doing anything. You're just sitting here going, what,
What do you mean needlessly?
over and
We're
over
not
and
gonna
over
do
again.
We're talking
so
about
here's the
distinctions
statement.
of,
So
like-
here's the
like,
statement.
because
Here's the
you're the
statement.
one-
Here's the
you're-
statement. Here's the
okay.
statement. Certain federal bodies can probably be tasked with releasing statements or engaging in some level of clamping down on, depending on the serious threat to public health, depending on the level of fraud or disinformation coming from a particular entity or organization. And then you would determine these on a case-by-case basis. That's what we have, a whole government apparatus that's capable of doing this. We have a whole court system that's capable of evaluating if they did it legally or not. You would go through that process. That's my answer. So what else of that do you want to
So in
endlessly
this
nitpick to
situation-
avoid having to actually talk about any of the substance at
so
hand? Yeah.
To clarify and to add nuance to discussion, I'm saying in the instance where the government put out information like the food pyramid that was knowingly wrong, that they did not have the correct information for, and that diet is what's led to this obesity epidemic.
Yeah, so the
that we've
food
seen
pyramid did not
of
lead
weight-
to the
of
obesity
kind of shit.
epidemic. That's not true. Number one. Number two, what part can you prove that they put it? What is the
yeah,
what is the
no.
strongest version of evidence that they intentionally put
Yeah,
it out to
where
mislead
is-
people on
yeah,
health?
So where is the government's evidence for saying that you need to make sure that the majority of what you're eating are grains and all this kind of shit? This was like that was.
My question was
like,
not
I'm asking
whether or
you,
not it was
is
misfounded.
that-
My
is
question
that
is
malinformation,
my question-
disinformation.
Sure, I can
Because
answer the
what
question. You're not going
yeah.
to let me ask the question because you know
Okay.
that you're fucking trapped. Yeah. The question is, what is the singular piece of proof that you have that the government was intentionally misleading people with that information? What was the goal? What was the purpose? Why were they intentionally misleading people?
I'm not making any of the claims.
All right, then go to the
I'm
next. Go to the
asking
other guy.
you,
Go to the
is
next
that
guy.
malinformation?
I would
I'm
have to
asking you,
know.
is that based on
Malinformation
your
or
definition?
disinformation
Stop.
requires them
Stop.
to be doing it with intentionality. So you need to show me some intent.
Yeah. So
Taverick,
yes.
just
So
real quick,
it
just
would
real
take
quick. I know you're
time.
last minute
Just-
fill-in. I understand that, right? And so I get it. So I do appreciate you for being here. I really do. But we do have to actually kind of like, what point are you trying to make? Is my question.
Okay, let me cut straight down to the point because I'm
please.
using that as an example to say, okay, when you're talking about the case that Trump launched against these pollsters, like how do we know? How did he know his mentality? So in terms of like launching the
We
case,
can literally
and the court
start with
striking
the
it
court.
down,
We can start with the complaint. In the
One-
complaint, he doesn't give
yeah.
any evidence of any fraud.
See the way that I was the one that's getting accused of interrupting, and then
No,
I'm
because
like,
you're
midway
just.
through
All
your answer.
right, go ahead, filibuster some more.
Finish your
Yeah,
point, Taverick,
filibuster,
please.
go.
Finish your
Yeah,
point.
yeah, so like clearly like at least people like listening into this could be able to see the comparison where it's like, hang on a second, you're saying without shadow of a doubt, I can't even define whether that's malinformation, disinformation, or misinformation in terms of the food pyramid stuff. But then when Trump put this case against the pollsters, which again, nothing result off it, justice was done. We can all dance about and all this kind of stuff. Apparently, that's like chilling. Okay,
can you
cut
not?
to, like,
Can we have like an
rain,
IQ
like
cut or
falling
whatever?
on a
Like
window
if you're too
pane,
stupid to finish
sad
your sentence,
music
like
in the
why?
background, Destiny
This is
in the
such a
corner.
waste of
You know what
time
I'm
because he
saying?
knows he has
I
no
fear
point.
for
got it,
my
you got
free
it, you got it.
speech.
Yeah, it's a waste of time
Meanwhile,
because he
these
knows
same
he has no
conservatives
point.
need to fear for their lives.
You've
Yeah,
made
go
like
ahead.
20 different stupid arguments. One thing. Here's the first stupid argument we make. How do you know his state of mind? We can read the initial filing. He doesn't provide any proof of fraud. If you had proof of fraud, you would put it in your initial complaint. He just said that they lied because they were jealous and they hated him and they were wrong, which is not being wrong and lying are not the same thing. So that's how I read his state of mind. I can read the words they put in the public filing. So what is your evidence? You made the claim that the government intentionally lied about the food pyramid. What is your evidence that the government intentionally lied about this? That's what I thought. What's the other guy have to say?
Because there was no base evidence to prove like what because there was what's the minimum or maximum amount of carbohydrates you eat in a
Okay,
single
sorry.
day?
I'm sorry. We have to go way more fundamental. My bad. What's the difference between lying and being wrong?
No, I'm telling you, and that's the
I'm
evidence.
asking you a
in terms of
question.
The logic applied in the situation, there is no maximum, there is no minimum in terms of the carbohydrates you should eat per day.
So
But there
them being
are,
wrong or
fats
misguided
and
about
there
the
are
food
proteins.
pyramid, them
So
being wrong or
in
misguided about
terms
the
of
food pyramid, that's the same as
in
them
terms of
being.
the macronutrients.
Okay, you don't.
There is
Yeah.
there's questions the government can't answer. You know what I mean? And again, to amend it, like I would not necessarily.
Okay,
They
so-
knowingly lied. They knowingly lied. I would say that they had no base or justification to push that food pyramid in the first place. There was no scientific evidence for it,
Treyvek.
Okay.
and they pushed
yeah,
it anyway.
Let me
Is
hop
that
in here because
dis or misinformation?
Okay, Teriak, because I've heard right-wingers talk about this before, so I quickly dug up my files in this. I know exactly what you're talking about. This comes from 1977, Dietary Goals for the United States, which came out of the Select Committee on Nutrition and Human Needs from the U.S. Senate. I know exactly what you're talking about, okay? It came out like 10 years later that it turns out that some of the evidence in that was wrong, and that's where the food pyramid came from. There is no evidence in any of this story that shows that the senators in question knowingly did this. They were just wrong.
But what I'm saying is there's no scientific basis.
Misinformation, to be clear. Under
What
the
do you mean by
Constitution.
there's no scientific
Finally,
basis?
okay. Thank you, Wick, for answering my question. Finally, that would be
What did
classified
Wick
as
say?
misinformation.
No, it wouldn't be classified as misinformation because they were operating what they knew at the time. What do you think is
Okay.
what do you think is misinformation, or what are you talking about?
That's what I'm asking you.
So as
Wait,
I
no.
don't know if it's
I
absence,
said with
real
regards
quick.
to
Is
the
it 'cause
food.
I'm
Wait,
Irish?
with regards to the food pyramid, what part of this? What do you mean by is misinformation?
Because there's basically something that is wrong that the government pushed versus the pollsters have
What
pushed
part of it
something
is
that was
what
wrong. They
part
were
of
off
it
by
is
16
wrong?
points, Destiny.
What part
They
of
were
it
off by
is what
16
part of it
points.
is wrong for the food pyramid? What do you mean by wrong?
Yeah, that the most the majority of what you should be eating is like carbs and fucking like wheats and whole grains and all this kind of shit.
What part of that is wrong
They
or
have
misinformation?
they have redone the food pyramid.
Yeah, they've
terms of
yes,
your-
they've
your
updated
daily
it based
goals.
on more stuff that's come out. Yeah, but it's not like
Yeah,
if you it's
and
not
there's
if you
been
follow
plenty
the
of-
first
yeah,
if you follow the
yeah,
first food pyramid, it's not
plenty-
like you're
yeah.
gonna die. It's not like it was like destroying your body or making you you blamed it the current obesity president. It doesn't make any
Okay,
sense at all.
How do you define destroying your body? Like, have you not seen some of the fat cunts?
Do you think this is because of people
They run around,
eating?
they can't use their
do you think-
legs anymore.
Do you think that these are
And you're
because of
telling-
people?
if-
Do you
are
think
you
yeah,
destroying
keep
your body?
filibuster, keep
Motherfucker,
filibuster,
if you need a
filibuster more,
scooter and you
keep
can't use
filibuster
your
more,
legs,
filibuster
yes,
more,
you destroyed your
filibuster
body.
more.
Okay,
Holy
okay.
shit! Your ancestors must have lived off potatoes. Jesus Christ! What do you
I'm
think? Do you think
filibuster?
that eating complex
my God.
carbs or dietary fiber is the same thing as eating ultra processed foods that are available at fast food restaurants today? Do you think this is the same thing?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. Like, I'm waiting for him to answer my question.
Okay.
Okay, Steelborn.
Because
give
again,
us
you
what
said
got.
no. One sec. No, just to clarify and just to point out that like Destiny's the one that seems to be fucking gone here because you actually answered my question. When you said that would be misinformation,
I
then
don't know why
Destiny
we're talking about
disagreed
food
and said
pyramid,
that
though.
wasn't misinformation,
That's not
and
the topic.
but he didn't give an answer, and then he just said, "Okay, do you think that complex carbs are the same as ultra processed foods?" Do you know what I mean? See the way that like he doesn't answer the question, and then he just ends on a question that has nothing got to do with my question. But go ahead, Steelman.
Being wrong about a thing is not necessarily misinformation if you're working with the evidence you had at the time. We copied most of that food pyramid from the Swedes or whatever anyway. Like, it's not like they just came out and they were like, we're going to fuck over America and put out wrong information. They were working with what they had at the time. And you can tell because like a decade or two later, they updated it to the food plate. There's no evidence that they were doing anything intentionally wrong or that they were ignoring all the posted scientific evidence. Like, that's just not true. You have no evidence for that. So
Okay. So for example, like if there was, let's say, a famous case that was ruled a suicide, right, and there's evidence.
why
that he
did
had,
you
like,
just
for
jump to a
example,
totally
five
different
One sec.
topic?
Yeah,
I'm not going to
so what I'm
engage
saying
with
is
whatever he said.
there's
Yeah, okay,
basic
okay,
there's
stop,
basic
stop,
scientific
stop,
evidence or
stop,
questions they
stop,
cannot provide,
stop,
but they still
stop,
ran with it.
Stop.
Because when they're
Hold on.
presenting
What
a
we're
food
gonna do
pyramid,
right now,
they're
we're gonna
presenting.
go back to the topic. I want to
Yeah.
talk about Trump and free speech. The food pyramid does
Yeah.
not interest me. I do not care
Exactly.
about the food pyramid.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the.
Wick,
let's
you're
talk
violating
about
free speech
Trump.
here.
Go ahead, Deb, please.
No, I was just joking around, man. Where are you going with this?
Where am I going with
Yeah,
this?
I'll
Back
try
to
and
the
can I
topic
try
at
and bring it
hand.
back on topic here, Wick?
Yes, go ahead, Steelborn,
Okay,
please.
so real quick, so for Destiny and Dev, so would you which one of these would you think is be more of a threat? Like rhetoric, executive action, institutional power, surveillance, infrastructure, criminal prosecution? Like, what is like? How do we like? I'm sure we're gonna put these in a hierarchy. So like, what would you say would be like the biggest thing? Like, what would be
The
the
president
most
engaging
impactful?
in rhetoric saying he wants to revoke citizenship from people and talking about executing people.
Okay, that you think that has more of a chilling effect on the mass of the or on the masses as opposed to like massive surveillance?
I don't know how to quantify massive surveillance because some surveillance is justified. I mean, like if you have like an
agree
intelligence
with that.
operation thing. So I don't even know how I would compare such a broad category of things to another category of things that should never be happening.
Well, like, do you think that people felt like they actually had more free speech and were able to actually have more conversations conversations I guess that like wouldn't necessarily be the best politically before or after, let's say, like, I don't know, the Patriot Act?
I honestly, I don't think that meaningfully impacted much Americans' free speech. I don't think people think about it much because it's internet shit and surveillance or whatever. But I don't think
You
people
don't think
think
that
about it.
people are aware of the fact and worried about the fact that they don't even know they like you come on, dude, you've seen the people when they're sitting there and they're like, dude, the phones are listening. Like, that's a regular thing that I've seen people do. Where they'll be like, the phones are listening.
In your
you can't talk
circles,
about
it
this.
wouldn't
Like,
surprise me. But can you give me an example of behavior that changed as a result of the Patriot Act?
the behavior that changed.
That's what I mean. So nobody really acted any differently as a result of.
I have to take my shoes off when I go to the airport.
Okay.
Okay, yes, that happened. That was true. He got you. He
Listen, my
Oh,
my
no.
mom took Tylenol, okay? So you got to be patient with me.
Okay. I guess to steelman the point a little bit.
Why?
So we can have an interesting
Yeah, but it's not. They don't
conversation.
even believe this shit. This is like an unlimited amount of mental gymnastics to avoid the substance of anything they're talking about. Like,
Well,
this
let
is
me
all a
ask you,
joke.
what do
Like,
you
they
think
know
is
they're-
more of a threat
What
to
are you
free
talking
speech?
about?
Hold on, what do you think is more of a threat to free speech? Rhetoric from the president or like actually expanding government power?
Like what? Like, do you hear that? Like, this is like it's like retarded statement after
No,
retarded statement. He's like, try eating
mean,
this food, and then he
no,
throws
from
like some
you guys.
diarrhea at
You
you.
guys-
It's like it's so
you guys
fucking
know
No, I'm
retarded.
still on the same point that I was.
Because think about it, like, because you're even to mention like the rhetoric that Trump is using, and use the one that are painting the corner that you're in the like listening to your like what is it like, my tea's gone cold, I'm wondering why, as like you're like crying because you're like losing your free speech because Trump lost a lawsuit.
Maybe he's not even Irish. Maybe he's just drunk. I actually can't tell.
Can't it be both? Come on.
Okay, so
Those aren't mutually
just think
exclusive.
about, like,
okay? It's
like
actually,
what you're
pretty
saying in
likely
terms of the
he's Irish,
rhetoric.
he's drunk.
just to be clear, do you think that that was the only bit of evidence that Dev and Destiny have for Trump being the greatest threat to free speech?
I'm still waiting for other examples.
Like this has been the main case. Like what I'm saying so far is their argument to me has been Trump has lost a lawsuit equals this is the greatest threat to our free speech.
Okay, here, I just pulled one up, okay? Twitter kept entire database of Republican requests to censor posts. Elon Musk's Twitter files revealed this, that even though everyone talks about the Hunter Biden laptop, it was the Republicans who wanted more shit censored off of Twitter, not the Democrats.
That's a material, factual thing. These guys don't want to engage with that. So I'm going to perform an
I'm
internal
trying to
critique
look at it
here
right
and
now.
call you
Hey,
retarded.
I've never read this article, so isn't it fair of me to at least look at it?
Oh, I didn't see that. That's the first time I'm hearing of it.
Here's a study I'm going to present mid-debate. If you don't accept this without grace, you're an idiot or a retard. I mean, give him a
Well,
bit
I-
of grace, gentlemen.
I can DM it to you if you want to read it.
I would appreciate that. Yeah.
Sure.
Look, I'm willing to change my mind based on new incoming evidence. Doesn't that seem like the most rational position?
If you actually held it, it would be.
And I don't see
If,
how I'm
if you
not holding
can't
it.
see how the president of the United States suing people for stuff that he doesn't like is a huge threat, is probably one of the largest
is he
things
filing
I've ever seen in
criminal
my
lawsuits
entire
against
in my
him?
entire in my entire
Losing a
lifetime.
lawsuit.
Okay,
Well,
then you're
is
not
he
you're
filing
not
criminal lawsuits
you're
against
not
them?
capable. First of all, yes, he is, number one. But number two, you're not
He's
not
filing
even
a criminal
capable.
lawsuit. Which one's he filing a criminal lawsuit against?
The ones against Bolton, the ones against Letitia James, and the one against Comey were against political opponents, adversaries that he didn't like for political reasons. That would be three, but it's not even relevant to the other thing I'm talking about.
Justification for the lawsuit.
You mean the people that went after him?
Yeah, the people that didn't like him politically. Thank you
Oh.
for making my point, you potato fucker.
and,
Good
and
job.
and filed lawsuits against him. And you didn't have an issue with that.
Wait,
And he
they
was like,
filed
"This is
lawsuits
justice."
against him?
Brr, brr, brr.
What
what
Comey?
was
When
the
did
lawsuit
Comey
that
file
they
a lawsuit?
filed
When did
against,
Comey file a lawsuit?
I'm just saying, we're not so different, you and I.
Right. Okay. The British were a mistake. Okay.
Okay, real quick here. Since this is what we're talking about, I'll pull this up real quick here. Grand jury declines to charge Democrats in illegal orders video. This is when Trump tried to go after the seditious six for their speech, and the lawsuit that his administration brought was so shitty it didn't even get past the grand jury phase.
So also, all you're saying is the thing that didn't get past the grand jury. How's that a threat to freedom of speech, Dev? That's not ironically what both of them were about to say, by the way. I'm not even joking.
I know. I mean, the answer to that is
It
the
wasn't. I
fact
would
that he
actually-
would attempt it is actually terrible
Yeah.
because like he's going after people for their speech. That's bad. Can we agree that's bad?
Yeah, but
it
isn't the
would
fact that he
depend on-
failed, doesn't
depend on
that
the
show the system's
justification.
working?
It would depend on justifications. So like
We already
I
had.
think that
He
there's
literally
times when
truthed them out. He literally posted on Truth, "You need to indict these 3 people. I hate them. Here's the prosecutor I want you to use." And then they did that.
Okay. And nothing came of it?
He said it.
I'll just grant it. That's my okay. So nothing came of it. I don't know the
King.
case. So
You're
how
a
do you
king.
what you
You're
want,
a
you want me
king.
to speak on something that I don't know, dude?
You're a king.
Like I don't know this case. So how am I
I
supposed to speak
know.
to
I
it?
know. Of course not.
But like still, like this is what they're not getting. This is what I keep pointing out. It's like, okay, why is Trump doing this? Like what happened when Trump wasn't president? Like the exact same shit, and they all said nothing, and this was justice and all this
Hold
kind
on,
of shit.
What
but
was
then
one
now that it's
illegitimate
like,
charge against Trump?
Isn't this
What was one
bad on
illegitimate
how
charge
Trump
against Trump?
is able to do this?
What was one illegitimate charge against Trump?
Isn't
Keep
this system
filibustering.
that Trump is
Keep
using?
filibustering.
Isn't this system that Trump is
Keep
using? I'm talking to
filibustering.
Steelborn.
Oh.
I'm just talking to my. I'm just having a little sidebar here.
Okay.
Just one sec, Destiny. Right. Isn't this like so insane? Like this system that Trump is using, isn't this system so corrupt? And then as soon as they get their guy in office, like literally weekend at Biden's, it's like, oh no, it's everyone's cleaned up. It's all angels and all this kind of shit. When Trump is doing it, it's all demons and all this kind of shit. Do you not see how like the the hypocrisy.
Okay, I
that they're
have
trying
a
to
question
say
for you
now
then.
in terms of like
It-
why is
so-
Trump
Yeah,
able to
like
do
which
all
do you
this
think
kind
is
of
a
shit?
more chilling effect for like the masses? Because you would agree that Trump he did win the popular vote as well. So the majority of the country did vote for Trump, as far as those who did vote. So which one do you think would be more of a chilling effect? The masses seeing what appears to be a bunch of bullshit lawsuits being filed against the person who's running for president and trying to put him in prison for 700 years for crimes that they extended the statute of limitations for.
They didn't.
Or
That's not true.
Trump being
be
mean
clear,
to some
that's
media
not true, yeah.
personalities.
So, I mean, when you lie about everything and make it sound spookier than it actually is, then I can understand why people would be scared about it. But that's why Trump and you guys are kind of part of the problem there. So,
Oh, okay. So I'll just whatever part of that you disagree with, I'll just grant. Okay, what was the part like the extension of the statute of limitations?
so the
That's what
charges
you agree with?
against him were legitimate. I don't know why people seem to think or buy into this idea that they were false charges. I mean, he was literally convicted in New York State. I've never heard anybody contest the Mar-a-Lago document stuff or the Jan 6 one. People will fight on the edges of that. But I mean, it's like, even if you don't like these, they're way more solid than trying to dig up old mortgage documents of everybody and alleging fucking mortgage fraud, which all of these have fucking fallen apart.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, which do you think would have more of an effect on the masses? Because you agree that Trump is popular with the masses, right?
One of the things that I said that you keep ignoring,
Not
when
so
I say
much
chilling
anymore,
effect,
dude. Not so much
when I say
anymore.
chilling effect, I mean chilling effect without a good reason. So, for instance, there's probably a huge chilling effect on people killing people because you go to jail for murder. But that's an okay chilling effect. So, if some people might be chilled because their president committed a crime and then he was convicted of that crime, that's an okay chilling effect. Not all chilling effects are bad.
Okay, that's an okay chilling effect. Okay, so
If the president has committed a crime and he's convicted of the crime, yes. We want to chill people on committing crimes.
yeah, I'll even just grant that we want to chill people on committing crimes.
Well,
So,
thank you for
do
granting
think-
that.
Yeah, as in like, yeah, sir. I'll just go ahead and grant that, like I just did, anyways. I'm sorry. Could you just remind me real quick how many left-wing media personalities have recently been assassinated? Just curious.
Left-wing media personalities. I'm not sure. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Can't think of any.
Left-wing?
Attacked in public?
Attacked in public? I don't know. I'm sure there have been some. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Oh, Savannah Guthrie's
you-
mom was abducted. There was that. Oh wait, actually, hold on. What was the guy's mansion that got firebombed? Was that was it Josh Shapiro?
Yeah,
that
well, he's not
happened.
a
there was a whole
Shapiro.
plot
Yeah,
to
he's not a media
kidnap.
personality. Isn't Josh Shapiro like a public
He's
figure
a
in
governor.
office?
He's a
No,
governor.
he is a Democratic.
Oh,
governor.
sorry. Okay, we're only
Governor. I can't remember
we're
which
exclusively
position.
doing media personalities. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I can think of one that had a pretty chilling effect for at least I would say half the country.
Really? Who?
I would say Charlie Kirk's assassination, and then watching the left absolutely just swim
Yeah.
in the blood of the pool of blood that was left
Yeah,
from
yeah.
his neck.
Okay, hold on. Let me
You guys were all-
make sure that I understand this. Let me make
Hold
sure.
on.
Wait, let me make sure that I understand this. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. You're saying that the Charlie Kirk assassination, which was followed up by the largest public funeral in basically all of U.S. history, that more people attended than almost anything else, including the president of the
I
United
agree with
States, that was a chill effect. That was a chilling effect.
No.
Oh,
The
then everything
reaction
you just
to
said
the
was
assassination.
no. What is the chilling effect? Which speech was? Do you think who felt chilled? Was it Matt
By
Walsh
watching
and Tim
Charlie Kirk
Pool?
get assassination?
Yes. Who was chilled? Because it seems like everybody was emboldened and got to Twitter and went even crazier on that. Was anybody chilled? Did anybody cancel a public appearance? Did anybody feel like they were going to be next publicly, or did anybody call for?
Yes, you can actually multiple media personalities. Not
Then name
only
one.
that, they increased
Who?
their security teams.
Who? I don't even know if I necessarily believe this, but everybody increased their security teams if that's the case. I needed more security to go to college campuses. So I mean, like that's the thing that happens anytime there's violence. Guess who never says that we should all be less violent? Donald Trump. Isn't that kind of crazy? Are you upset about Donald Trump for never saying all of us need to be less violent?
What left wingers are being attacked for it?
Are you upset that Donald Trump doesn't say all
What
of us need to be?
left-wingers
Are you upset
what
that Donald?
left-
That's why I say it doesn't
I
matter.
don't
None of this
think that
actually
this is
matters
a
to you.
problem
The
on both
conservatives
sides.
love the
Real quick.
violence.
Hold
They
on,
do.
just
They
real
do.
quick.
This is why I
Just
stand
real
by
quick.
everything I said in the
Melissa
past as well.
Hortman
Like
was-
you guys
Destiny,
love it.
I
You guys
don't
love
think
it.
this
You
is a
love it.
problem on both
You love it.
sides.
You love it. You
I
love
don't
it.
think it's a problem.
I
I
know
don't
you
think
don't
it's an
think
issue on
so.
both
Yeah,
sides.
you love it. You love it.
Just to
Can you
just
demonstrate
facts
any
out
left-wing-
there, just
I
real
mean,
quick,
can you
please,
just-
please, Steelborn, please. Melissa Hortman was a senator, a Democratic senator who was assassinated by.
Look at
Trump
the
voter.
recent trans shooter who was a fucking neo-Nazi or whatever, right? At the snow rink or whatever.
Oh, you talking about the one in Canada?
No, the one that just did the shooting in
no, it wasn't in Canada. You're right. That was the last one, I think.
Was it North Carolina?
maybe that sounds. Would they have a
I can't remember which state it was.
Rhode Island? Rhode Island.
As far as anything happened in Rhode Island. So okay, what? So you found one. You hold on a sec. You think that somebody who's a neo-Nazi transgender isn't like confused in their mental state at all? Because I'm pretty sure most Nazis tend to just entirely reject transgender or gender ideology as as it is.
Pretty sure the consumption
not
of like
been in some Nazi circles,
pretty
my
sure the
friend.
consumption of femboy adjacent related pornography is probably the highest in neo-Nazi circles. But that's you can pretend or disagree with that all you want. I'm pretty sure this person had a fucking SS tattoo on them. And their Twitter is still up. You can go through all their fucking tweets. This person is clearly like a fucking far right, like white identitarian Jews are behind everything type. What about the guy? What about the guy who ran his truck into the Mormon
I
church
got
with the 2
accused-
giant American flags on the back?
I got accused of derailing this motherfucker, this bitch. And then like Destiny's now bringing up like, oh, we had like swastika.
What you were asking? You were asking for examples. Because the reason why we're here is because you guys have to endlessly pivot away from the behavior of the president of the United States. That's why. That's the only reason. That's all these conversations go. But you know that it's by design. I understand.
No, all we have to do is simply make the case that he's acting in no different to the same way that the quote unquote Biden moved.
I agree. That's why I asked you for an example of Biden doing anything equivalent, but you weren't able to provide one.
What?
I know.
Okay, here. I'll bring this up to you.
Like
okay?
this whole thing of like Trump
So,
like
well,
launch
here,
lawsuits.
here.
Like, what are all the
I'll give you
Go
an
ahead,
example.
what are all the
Deb,
lawsuits
Deb,
that were launched against
So,
Trump?
Just wait. So Trump's FCC has gone after late night TV several times recently over the past year. Did Biden's administration do anything like that? Any late night TV?
Yes.
FCC bullshit.
Suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop story.
How is that the same?
Hold on. Wait. Biden's admin had nothing to do with that, though, right? The Twitter files were released. That story had no FBI, no federal government intervention whatsoever.
Yeah, FBI was like, fuck, we just really don't like Trump.
Okay. Good one.
Okay.
Steelborn, how about you? How about you jump in on this one?
I was still.
No,
I
because
was
like
still-
this is the game. This is the game that the Democrats play, where it's they're kind of like
We have the facts. I know it
faceless
sucks. It's so annoying. We have to actually.
This is
The
why they
game of
think
wanting
they
you
all
to
vote as
answer the
a
question.
single and all this kind of shit. They never hold each other accountable on all this kind of shit because they need disposable things like you gotta take the blame for this, you gotta take the blame for this, all this kind of shit, and then that's how they move as a unit.
Well, hold on. Wait.
Listen,
No. Wait.
I
Just
am
wait.
telling you that,
Like, for
Just
no
very
reason
clearly.
whatsoever, they
very
suppressed
clearly-
that story.
What do you mean for no
Biden.
reason?
I was like, Biden's admin had nothing got to do with it.
Oh, wait,
wonder
so just
why
to be-
the Biden,
okay,
I wonder
fine,
why the
you're gonna make the
FBI
argument- yeah, you
done
wonder
such
why
a
the
great
FBI
favor for Biden, but
Oh.
Biden had nothing got to do with it. You're
Oh,
crazy. You're
okay,
conspiracy
okay.
theories. Do you think
Hold
Biden
on.
had anything got to do
You're
with
talking
that?
about them censoring which story?
Who's the
Wait.
10% for, Destiny?
You're talking about the.
Who's
you're
the
talking.
10%
Stop
for?
trying to.
Let
Stop trying to pivot.
Destiny on.
You're saying that the Biden admin
pivot-
censored the laptop story?
Bro,
Is that what you're saying? That they were
trying
doing
to
it to
catch
help
up
him?
with you.
Are you saying that they did that to help him win the election? That's your assertion?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay. Well,
I don't
let's
wanna make,
assume that.
any,
So you think that?
erroneous
Okay, that's
claims,
fine.
But what I'm saying is
Wait.
potentiality.
Wait. So why do you think? Let's say that the FBI was even doing that. You think that means that the order would have came from Biden? Or you think it would have had a lot of influence there? If I'm being good faith.
I would say that, like, in terms of the dynamic you see at play, like, why would the FBI do such a heinous thing?
Okay. So because that story was censored.
When you're talking about
More filibuster.
actually censoring free speech, all that stuff was truth.
Okay.
Which means in terms of malinformation, disinformation, all this kind of shit.
Okay.
Truth goes above that, which means that there's no reason to suppress truth.
Okay.
Why would you suppress truth?
Okay, sure. Okay, so that's an argument. Okay, do you think that and you think that so despite
That's
not
the
having
system.
Can I,
Destiny,
why
just
can't I
real quick,
finish? Why
just
can't I?
real
No,
quick.
no, 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 real quick.
I-
Let me finish this
no,
line of
I have
argument.
to explain.
Let me know. You
I
don't
have
have to
to
explain.
explain.
I'm just asking this question.
Yes,
You
yes,
think that so why was the Hunter Biden laptop story? Why was that story trying to be pushed in the media so much?
I don't know. Tell me.
Because they were trying to make it so that Biden would lose the election, right? Do you understand yet the point that I'm getting at?
Sure,
You just
yeah.
said that the FBI was trying to
Yeah.
intervene with Twitter on Biden's behalf in order to kill that story. Donald Trump was the president, you stupid motherfucker. Now I want you to re-explain that whole story because now you have to change every single thing you just said. Well, the FBI obviously was taking orders from the president. Well, of course. Why else would they do it? Blah, blah. So now I want you to explain why did Trump's FBI kill the Hunter Biden laptop story? Explain that to me, please.
Yeah, so like that's what I'm saying. I'm pointing out that it's a system. like you keep trying to phrase it as though like we're trying to like defend Donald Trump and all this kind of shit, and we're like
There it is. And the whole I'm not a Trump defender. Yeah, there it is.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
good.
Irish.
I'm good. I'm happy there.
Yeah, but like,
it was the deep state.
do you not okay? Do you not understand like what I'm trying to point towards? We're just
No.
trying to win.
I don't fucking
You want
get it,
truth?
man. What are you trying to
You
say?
want to win. Yeah. So what I'm pointing
want to
towards, it's
understand
like
what you're
it's the
saying.
system. Use the one in terms of the prompt. It's like got to do with Donald Trump is the greatest threat to free speech. No, it's the system.
It's the system. Okay, so like, is this Metal Gear Solid 2? It's the fucking Patriots. Like, who? Name the person, not just the system. Who is it?
Yeah, what you are complaining about Donald Trump is how Donald Trump can actively just use the government. So you're not really pissed off at Donald Trump. You're pissed off at the government.
No, because Donald Trump is breaking lies and he's doing things in the government that have traditionally never been done. That's why for the prompt we said that he's done historically larger attacks against freedom of speech than any other president in U.S. history. That's the point.
Yeah, and Biden fell up a flight of stairs. Like there's things that like people haven't done before, but like that's not an argument.
That is an argument
How is
because
that
we're not
not an
arguing.
argument?
We're not
It's not.
arguing about whether or not we think the president has fallen down the stairs historically more than any other president. If we were having that argument, then that might be a good point to bring
Isn't
up.
the whole lefty thing? It's like move fast, break things. Like that's the whole progressive mindset. And then you're saying it's like, oh, like how dare you do things that have never been done before in government?
Move fast, break
Like how's that an
things.
argument? You're saying it's like it's different.
If you were on the
ergo it's
fucking
bad.
Mars rover and you had a whole process to
Mm-hmm.
launch your thing to the surface and some guy just smashed the button, he's like, move fast, break things. Does that sound like a very intelligent thing to do? If your wife
Well,
was
that's
giving
what Silicon
birth
Valley-
at
like, that's
home
the
and you just like
mentality of
punched her
Silicon Valley.
stomach to eject the baby out as quickly as possible because you want to move fast and break it, does that sound like a very intelligent thing to do? Are we speaking in slogans here? Or are we
That's
going to?
a technology. Yeah, that's how you develop technology. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay, I want to give it back to Steelborn. If you have any examples of things that the Biden administration did, or Obama administration, or the Clinton administration, or even the Bush administration, that you think is more egregious than Trump using the FCC in order to attack his late-night critics, than Trump weaponizing the DOJ to go after Comey, Letitia James, and others who have wronged him. Do you have any examples that we can go over?
Yeah, so I was actually looking into, because I had remembered reading about this and I wanted to make sure I had the details of this correct. So, what about when Obama had his DOJ weaponize the Espionage Act against whistleblowers?
Give
What's the name
me
of the
an
case?
example. What are you referring to in particular?
Okay, so let's go with the Thomas Drake case. He was an official who exposed waste and surveillance concerns. He was charged under the Espionage Act by the Obama Department of Justice, and the case collapsed before it went to trial. But he was charged, so he was doing frivolous lawsuits according to by your guys' standards. Chelsea Manning.
Hold on, wait.
classified
I'm sorry, wait.
documents
I just said it just as a real quick,
released-
just as a real quick thing. Hold on. Do you know the difference between a civil case and a criminal case?
Yes, I do know the difference between a civil and a criminal case.
Okay, so when you say Obama sued him or charged him or whatever, it's not Obama. It was the Department of Justice, right, that decided that they wanted to prosecute this person for a criminal case. I don't think there's any evidence of Obama directing them to do it. And I don't know, do you think that, was this done because Obama or Obama's DOJ was trying to get back at these people politically, or because the DOJ thought there was a legitimate case there?
I can tell you whether or not the Department of Justice thought there was there was a legitimate case, or they were just doing this to try and suppress the story or suppress a narrative, what was going on, because these were whistleblowers that were coming out.
Well, don't you think
So-
it's important? Isn't that kind of central to our thing? Like, there's probably a way that you could leak classified material in a way that would legitimately be illegal, right?
Sure, I can just grant that, but
So then isn't it important to ask the question about that? Do we think these cases were frivolous or they were done in bad faith?
well, no, I think that if you're going to be trying to put people or charge people criminally for whistleblowing,
Yeah?
then that wouldn't you agree that that's a threat to fucking free speech?
It can be, but
Especially
when we talk about like whistleblowing, so I think there some degree of whistleblowing should be protected for sure, but that doesn't give you just like a blank check to just start leaking a bunch of classified material, like for Chelsea Manning, right? Chelsea Manning, right?
I think Chelsea Manning was one of them, but I think that sentence was later commuted.
Sure. Or for
remember
or for Edward Snowden, right? So like
I think Snowden's was too, yeah.
So, yeah, I think there should be protection for whistleblowers, but I mean, like, you agree that we can't just have people like leaking a bunch of classified material willy nilly? So you have to balance these two. I don't know what the correct balance is or how the courts or whatever normally determine what is protected or what isn't protected, but I'm pretty certain you can't just leak a ton of stuff. But I'm also pretty certain I've never heard of, I don't even know if Republicans make the claim that Obama wanted to go after these people personally because they made him look bad, the same way that Donald Trump would and has.
Okay, even if Trump does say, let's say Trump let's say a whistleblower came out and was like, Trump's eating baby giraffes and it's really sad. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to sue that person for defamation.
As the president of the United States, we're not talking about.
President of the United States. Is the president of the United States
the
violating
worst
any part of
argument.
the Constitution if he engages in a civil lawsuit with anybody?
It's not about violating parts. You can chill free speech without necessarily violating the Constitution, right?
Okay, real quick. You keep using the term. I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. What do you mean by chill free speech?
I'll say it again.
what I'm saying?
When you're taking actions, okay, that are baseless without good reason, right? And you are doing things that's going to cause a whole bunch of people to think, well, I don't know if I should say something that we would want to be said otherwise. This is like a chilling effect. So, for instance, if you make a law that says you can't send spam mail to people, that might cause a chilling effect around people sending spam mail. But if we think about it, well, spam mail isn't really a thing that we want, so that chilling effect is okay. But if you start suing pollsters or people that say mean things about you just because you're upset, well, now we're thinking, well, fuck, if I say something that upsets this guy, the president, he might sue me. There might be speech that we want to protect there. Maybe the president is going to be upset when people publish things. We don't want to cause that speech to be chilled.
Okay.
Bro, this
What
is the
is
same
Trump? What are
transgender shit they tried to
lawsuits
push.
that Trump is the lawsuits that Trump was filing against the pollsters? Was he trying to charge them criminally or civilly for, let's
They were
say,
civil
defamation,
suits. They were civil
slander?
suits.
They were civil suits. Okay, so he wasn't. So what's the worst case scenario here? If somebody gets charged with a civil suit of defamation, they have to pay a fine.
So first of all, the court costs and the fining can literally be business breaking. So you could be destroying somebody's livelihood and potentially putting this person into debt forever, number one. But number two, and the reason why it's extra scary when the president is doing it, is because the president could also come after you in other ways. So he might say, prevent the merger of your parent companies, or give you disfavorable protections when it comes to tariffs, or he could send the DOJ after you to go for something criminal afterwards. These are all concerns when the president is engaged in this behavior because he's the head executive. That's why the president of the United States doesn't sue people civilly unless it's Donald Trump.
I think there's been multiple presidents in the last 40 years who have engaged in civil suits.
Name one while they were president.
While they were president, I don't know I don't know that. I will grant that I don't know that.
Okay.
But I do believe there were other presidents who have engaged in civil suits. So if it's a question of while they're in office, I mean, like,
Hold on. I just want to be clear real quick. Hold on. Before you ask this next question, are you seriously about to suggest that you don't think there's much of a difference between the president being in office versus out of office? Is that the
No,
next
that
argument?
was not what I was about to say.
Okay. Thank you. Just checking.
No, but I don't exactly see how, if there's no violation of the Constitution for them engaging in a civil suit, if they actually think they have a case, or they're maybe they're just doing it frivolously, just like any other citizen is entitled to do. That, yes, they potentially could do that, but it's like, so could anybody with a position of power.
Is it in the Constitution for the president to go on to TV and say, man, if this guy fucking says mean shit about me, I'm gonna rape his wife and send a Patriot missile at his house, LOL? Is that against the Constitution?
Say no, it's not against the Constitution.
Okay, so should the president
I
be?
would say that's against.
No, probably not. No, probably not. If people think he's joking,
against the law.
Really? To say, like, I want to
Unbecoming,
rape
I
this guy or
would say.
whatever? I don't think it's against the Constitution. You can say shit like that.
That's a threat.
Not really. Say you want to? You can say you want to do
I think
something.
you said going to. I think you said going.
Oh, sorry. Maybe I said going to. Maybe I was unclear. So he said, I want to rape this guy if he says mean shit about me, and I'm going to send a Patriot missile at his house because fuck this guy or whatever. Do you think that's like... that's probably not against the Constitution, but I'm sure that like an enforcer saying something like this would create a huge chilling effect because you don't know if he's actually going to follow through on it. Because he's the executive. He's the police.
Okay, yeah. So essentially, you're saying that because he's the highest enforcer in the land, that he has the backing of force behind him that let's just grant that nobody else in the world has. I would say that nobody else in the world would have the backing of the United States military, other than the president in that scenario. So
Correct.
He's the chief executive, great, but is the president just allowed to, or is the president? There's no really, just because your psychological analysis of President Trump says mean stuff, and
Why are you saying
when he does civil lawsuits,
why are you using this term psychological? What do you mean by psychological?
You're giving a psychological state about how it makes you feel when Trump launches.
Yeah.
What do you think a chilling effect is?
Yeah, that's something. I reject that bullshit. I don't think that shit exists.
You
Or-
don't
or
think
that it's
people
even
can
valuable.
be...
You don't think that someone saying something can make you scared?
Wait, what do you think a chilling effect is?
I don't give a fuck. I don't value how you fucking feel.
Yeah,
I don't care if
I'm
you
kind of
value
the same
it.
thing here. It's like,
Okay,
it's
so then
like-
you don't think chilling effects are real? They don't exist?
No, I'm not gonna make that claim because
I'm saying,
it's
where's
totally
your,
real.
what's
But
your
it's
proof?
like,
What's our measurement for this?
The measurement
Like,
might be.
This is what I'm saying. You just make like bunch of like fucking like baseless claims like, oh, we're solved with hunger, we're fucking cool down the planet or some shit like this, and it's like, how are we gonna do it? And you're like,
Well, I don't know what
you
the
mean?
fuck that pivot
What's
was.
the measurement
but
on
the
this shit? Like,
measurement
why
might
is it so
be.
valuable that we
I'm
need to
trying
stop
to explain,
chilling
but you
effects? Oh my
keep, you
God.
keep filibustering because you know if I give an example, you're kind of fucking destroyed.
I'm not
So the measurement
filibustering.
would be corporations that are instantly settling these $10 million lawsuits with Donald Trump because they're too afraid to fight them in court because they're worried that it's going to threaten their businesses down the line. I think NBC made this statement with regards to them, Donald Trump suing them over the Kamala clip, and they had like a merger that their parent company was facing, and they were worried that if they fought this in court, that all of a sudden
That's not my
the
question.
You're fucking retarded, bro. Holy shit.
How am I retarded? I'm saying like,
You
why
can't
should we value
comprehend
this
your
chilling
own
effect?
retardation. That's kind of the point of being a fucking retard.
You're not actually demonstrating why we should be concerned about this chilling effect because again, essentially Trump lost a lawsuit.
Everyone's benefit. If the executive or someone under the executive makes a statement or says something, and then we can see that people respond to that thing, we measure how they respond to that thing, and that's how we can infer that there is a chilling effect of some sort. So if the president says, hey, anyone who has my political enemies on their shows, I'm going to send my FCC after them, then it would, again, and then we see all these late night shows not have his political enemies on anymore, we can say that there was a chilling effect. Does that count for you as a measurement? Do you understand?
I can understand, but you actually haven't.
No.
You can't actually demonstrate. At least not just based off the information that you just gave, Wick. You wouldn't be able to logically demonstrate that it's because he said X. Like therefore, this has to be the case. You might be able to make like you might be able to do it inductively, but not with a deductive argument.
You understand that when it comes to state of mind, every single state of mind argument is inductive, right? You cannot deduce a state of mind.
Right, I agree with that. So
of course,
because I
every
agree
single
with you, you can't
argument
deduce
as
state
to a
of mind.
person's state of mind is going to be inductive. So one way we might induct that, is to look at, well, they had all these people on. The president made this statement. Now they no longer have these people on. It would be fair, inductively, that we could say, well, it was likely the president's behavior that caused this change.
Or it could just be inductive that they don't think it's in their best political interest, or it's just in their best interest because fucking people don't like these people anymore, or X, the political winds are changing. Like, there's all kinds of different accounts
Sure.
and
And
reasons
you know
that you
what?
could give for why they wouldn't have these people on.
And I agree. I agree with you that that could be the case. So isn't it horrible when the president ventures an opinion on these things and now we can't tell the difference? Doesn't that kind of make that whole thing collapse?
No, I don't think that makes it collapse. What? Presidents say all kinds of stupid stuff constantly.
Then we've asked for a single example and you haven't given any, so you can't retreat to that. There's no example of the
Okay.
president pressuring other companies
Please,
the way that Donald
yeah.
Trump does.
Okay, you want an example of a
As
president said
European,
something really stupid?
being
Okay,
like-
the best
That's
defense
not what
and the
I'm
best way
saying,
to prepare for
yeah.
hurricane season is to go get vaccinated now. What the fuck does that have to do with any part of it?
Please, comrades, can poor European talk to give clarification? Destiny, you're the one I was saying is like this is a chilling effect, and a chilling effect is bad, right? And like chilling is like cooling and all stuff, but you're the one saying that we also have to cool temperatures. So like this is what I'm saying. That's where the confusion is, and I'm saying like, why do we need to value this? Like what's the temperature here?
I need Wick to break that down for me.
I think you're missing I think
What?
you're not understanding
Okay,
what he
so
means by chilling effect. I
First
really
of all,
don't.
First of all, he has said that chilling effect isn't necessarily bad, but when it comes to free
Yeah.
speech, we consider it bad if we value free speech. And I'm assuming
Well, certain
we
types
all
of
value
speech.
free
We don't
speech.
value people inciting riots, so you can charge somebody for an incitement to a riot, right? So there's generally we want to protect some speech, especially we're at our most careful when it's speech critical of the president or critical of the administration.
Yeah, but overinflating pollster numbers is not critical of Trump. That's just fraud.
Really, what was the evidence for the fraud?
Because it was such a big margin.
Could they not have just been wrong?
Could have been fraud.
Should Donald
Let the
Trump
courts
have sued?
investigate.
Should they
And justice was done.
Should
Yeah,
we
but
all,
should-
we all
should
hold
Donald
up a
Trump-
glass and we have a
should
toast.
Donald
but
Trump-
you're the one that's
Yeah,
sitting there kind of
good
going, I have a chilling effect. I'm like, motherfucker, you were saying that we had the cool temperatures anyway.
If
What are
it's
you complaining
fraud,
about
if
this?
it's fraud, why is he
Okay,
suing them? This should be a criminal investigation. I don't think you fucking know the difference.
Go ahead, Dev. I want to hear from Dev.
My mom took
Okay.
Tylenol. What's your excuse?
So, Steelborn, earlier you brought up the fact that it was civil, and that's you thought it was not as big of a deal because it was civil. And okay, I don't agree with you, but I'll just accept
You
it.
don't? Hold on. Now let's dive in on that. Hold on real quick. If somebody
No,
were
no,
to charge
because
you in a civil case versus a criminal
Yeah.
case, which one is actually gonna be more restricting of your freedom?
It super depends.
No, it
Yeah,
doesn't
it-
super
it-
fucking depend.
It super
It
fucking
actually
depends.
does. Yeah.
And how
No,
does
I'm-
it super
What is-
depend then?
I'll
Demonstrate
explain
that.
how it depends. If the criminal charge will get
Wait,
you maybe
don't help
30
them.
days
Let
of
them answer the
community
question. Let them
service,
answer the
it
question.
is
Sure, I can answer
less
the question. Is if the
restrictive.
criminal charge is completely and totally trumped the fuck up, then fuck it. Let them. I mean, like, there's a lot of bad stuff that can come from investigations that can be annoying for sure. But at the end of the day, you might have to deal with the annoyances of that. But the likelihood of them, one, even getting a grand jury indictment might be low, as we've seen this administration fail to secure some. And two,
Hold on. You think that you
can
think
I
that it
finish?
would-
What? You don't want me to finish? What do you mean I think? You don't even know what I think, because I'm not done with my fucking answer yet, okay? Two, okay, in the case of a civil case, right? For a civil case, the standard of winning is much lower. It's only 51%. And because you could be at risk to lose a lot more money from a civil case than you could for bullshit criminal charges that you don't think you've done that they wouldn't be able to convict in front of a jury, there are some cases where civil litigation would be scarier than criminal litigation.
Well, no, here's the difference, okay? If you're convicted of a criminal charge, you go to fucking jail. How many freedoms do you have in fucking jail as compared to, oh no, I lost a bunch of money?
Did you
That
just not
sucks,
listen?
but
You
at least
didn't
I'm not
listen
in
to a
fucking
single.
jail.
Okay,
You didn't listen to a single
Steelborn,
fucking thing I just said.
Go
Okay.
ahead, Dev.
Yeah, Steelborn. If I had to choose between going to jail for 2 weeks and losing $500,000,
No, I didn't say jail. I said prison. Or I meant to say
Oh my
prison. I
god!
might have
What is it?
mentioned
Fine,
It doesn't
fine.
matter here.
I'll still go to prison for 2 weeks versus losing $500,000. It's easy. It's an easy choice for me. But in any case, though, the reason why I brought this up is because I'll remind you of this case again. This was a criminal case. This is a criminal case that Trump's DOJ brought against the seditious six. It didn't get past the grand jury stage, but it was over their speech. It was over the things they said. He didn't like it. He investigated them. They found pretty much fucking nothing. He ordered them to push forward anyway to file these charges, and the charges did not get past the grand jury stage. The
Okay, what
point
were the
being-
charges specifically?
Oh my god. Do you think they should have been charged for that video? And before
I don't
haven't
even
seen
know the video in reference here. I said that I don't know
Hey,
this.
Does anyone have the video? We could watch a video. It's like a minute.
It is 90 seconds long. I just did a video on it, so I've got it. Hold on.
Yeah, just DM it to me and I'll
Oh, I
share it on
didn't see that. That's the first time I'm hearing of it.
Stop. Sorry, he keeps jumping into Discord. I kicked him out.
whenever you got it, Dev. In the meantime, let's read some super chats. $20 from Kid Eich says Trump has
In case sent to you.
Thank you. Trump has urged federal scrutiny of critical news outlets, floated challenges to broadcasters' license, backed cuts to public media funding, and used pointed rhetoric to chill protest and press freedom. $20 more from the pleb. If people being detained for speech is the highest form of chilling free speech, what about Rumasia Ozturk, who had her visa revoked and attempted to be deported over her pro-Palestine rhetoric? Also, who the fuck is this leprechaun? Thank you for the $20. Let's watch the thing.
Hold on a second, Wick. That was the wrong one. Sorry.
Oh,
Read another
Jesus.
super chat.
Okay, then $5 from Sifu KFJ to say, seeing these Chads make Destiny dance and do backflips is hilarious. The fall from grace is so satisfying. $5 from Testicle Johnson to say, please talk more about, $2 from Testicle Johnson to say, please talk more about the food pyramid. $5 from Odashira to say, can the rightoids answer this question? What is the issue with attempted murder or attempted rape? It didn't happen, so there's no issue, right?
True.
Okay, let me get this video.
Are you playing this in Discord?
Yeah, I'm about to. Hold on. It's freezing a little bit on me.
If it doesn't work, I'll upload it to my Twitter and give you that instead.
Nope, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, everyone watching? Everyone seeing? Are we?
Yep.
Are we there? Okay. There we are. Kings and kings. Okay. What do you think the charge was there? Why do you think that they charged him, Steelborn?
I'm still waiting to hear what the charges were. I already said that I don't know what the charges were, so I asked them.
It was sedition.
It was sedition?
Mhm.
Anything?
Here it comes, guys.
I'm thinking for a moment. I don't...
Take your time.
Is it basically like what was the charge that was on? Like we have to guess. Is it like the
No,
game
the-
show
you don't
content?
have
No,
to guess.
sedition
what
is the
sedition.
charge.
Sedition is the charge. Yeah.
I'll have the next question for 500.
Okay. So can you acknowledge then that the charges brought against these guys, that was not sedition? That was just kind of a bullshit charge?
Okay. I can, even if I just agree to that, I have an actual honest question for both Dev and Destiny.
Mhm.
Do you think Trump thought that it was sedition?
No.
Yes.
Okay, so
Oh. I mean,
Wait,
he
did
said
Destiny
so
say
on
no?
Truth Social. He said it was sedition. So.
Wait. Or what do you mean
Okay.
when you answer that question? What do you mean by that, Dev?
Well, Trump said on Truth Social this was sedition. I think he's wrong, obviously, but
Oh, I think Trump was just mad at them. I think he was ass-banned. I don't think he thought that this was actually. Maybe he thought they could charge him, but I don't think he actually thought this is seditious behavior.
oh,
hey,
okay.
can you
So,
demonstrate that was what Trump thought?
You see, I personally think Trump has completely lost his marbles. He's brain broken. He's raped. He's delusional. He's fucking cooked. I think he actually believes a lot of this stuff.
Here's the issue. This is why I think I would be autocorrect on this. Is that if you were to put a pen and paper in front of Trump and you were to say, "Can you define sedition?" I don't think he should. I don't think he'd be able to do it. Which is why I don't think he believes in
Yeah, but
sedition.
he's still one sec. No, but one sec. Like he's a complete retard, but he's also an evil genius.
Who's
You know what I
ever
mean?
said that
Like,
Trump is an
you
evil
can't have-
genius?
he-
Wait.
he
Where's the
he
claim that
can't
Trump is
be
an evil
both.
genius?
Okay, so then like an absolute retard can become president then,
Welcome to America.
and then you're saying the problem is not the system. You see how like your whole arguments destroy themselves.
How did my? What do you think you destroyed?
Like you're saying that like Trump is a retard. He doesn't even know what sedition is. He doesn't even know how to spell it and all this kind of shit. And it's like, yeah, but that's the president of your country.
Yeah, that's a big fucking problem.
think that,
That's
like,
why
that's the
people
problem
are
with the
so
system
fucking
then?
upset that our president of the United States is an actual fucking retard. Correct. Yes, that's right. Good job.
yeah.
Yes, that's
So-
why so many
so
people are
from the
upset
system,
that
yeah.
he won the popular vote.
He lost the popular vote the first time. I don't know, and the second time.
Great.
What do you? So what?
No.
But-
The second time he actually made the presidency, he won the popular vote.
The second time he ran
So
for
the majority
president,
of
he
the
lost the
country thinks
popular
he's
vote.
retarded?
I just want to highlight. I just want to highlight because, like I said, you're claiming that Trump is a retard, can't even spell sedition, all this kind of shit. But then he's also like the evil genius that's in affairs.
Who's ever said? Nobody said he's an evil genius, bro. Are you okay? Nobody has said
Okay,
that.
so then if you say then
Okay, wait. Then if he's
like,
retarded, then
Trump
wouldn't the rest of the government be able to stop him from doing anything that
Yeah,
would violate
then
the
it's
free speech
Yes,
and
they
It's not
did the
affairs.
first term. That's why
It's-
Trump wasn't
one
able to
sec,
get
one
anything
sec.
done his first term.
Then
But the
it's-
second term, he just
then
chose a bunch of
it's
motherfucking
ignorance.
retards.
Yeah, but Destiny, real quick, you just lost the debate because fundamentally, then it's ignorance and not nefariousness, which means why do you have a chilling effect over ignorance?
Because you can ignorantly cause people to have their speech chilled. If I were to go out and I were to say, I'm going to kill any motherfucker that says some bad shit about me, that's retarded, but I can still cause a chilling effect. Do you understand
Yeah.
that, Mr. Potato Head?
So,
You got
like,
that?
Like I said. So like I said, you just call me like Mr. Potato Head. So it's like there's no chilling effect that should come with any of my words. So if I'm
I'm
a
not the
retard,
police.
then
I'm not
there's
the
no chilling
president.
effect. Like,
Am I
you're
the
not- you
am I
haven't
the
been
president?
chilled
Am I
by
the
any
president of your
the words that
country?
I've
Am I the
said
police in
tonight.
your country?
So
Am I a
what I'm-
prosecutor in
what
your
I'm
country?
saying is the picture
Hold on,
that
if the
you're
president
trying
were
to
to
paint
okay,
of
hold
Trump
on.
is a contradictory picture.
Good one.
If the president were to give unlawful orders, and because he's so retarded and so clearly mentally deranged, and not only that, not only is he mentally deranged, he's actually mentally deficient. He can't even think properly. He couldn't define a term like fuck. I fucking braveheart on the word. God damn it.
Sedition.
Sedition.
Sedition. Thank you. He can't even define the word sedition. But at the same exact time, he's an evil fascist dictator who wants to rule America as a king. And he's a
Well-
threat to our free speech.
The first thing you can do by just saying shit that is satisfying your ego, right? By saying, I'm going to go after everybody that comes against me. And the second thing you can kind of achieve by just trying to satisfy your ego, by saying, I want all the power. You don't have to be an evil genius for either of those things. Welcome to the political
Wouldn't you have to be
discussion
an evil
from
genius
5
for it to
years
fucking
ago.
work?
Yes, you would, which is why he's failing on almost every single part of his government. It's why his tariffs just got overturned today
but he
by his
became
own
president.
6-3 court. It's why all of his fucking foreign trade deals
failing.
haven't materialized yet. It was supposed to be
became
90
president.
deals in 90 days, and there are 0 deals. It's why he blew up the trade deal and said it was shit, the same one that he negotiated in his first fucking term. It's why he couldn't get anybody on board with him in his first term because he didn't realize the sycophantic retards he needed. It's why his own Department of Justice Attorney General can't secure indictments when these guys have said over and over and over again how easy it is to get indictments. So yeah, it's failing on every single level. Welcome to the fucking current political discourse.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
so
get off the
then by your
horse, Gish
standard,
Galloping
hold
a
on.
law.
By your standard, then, this fucking retard is the greatest threat to free speech?
Yes!
What? Because every time he
Retards
tries to do
often are!
anything, hold on. Because every time he tries to do something, the checks and balance system works. How is he the greatest threat to free speech? Wouldn't you need an evil genius to fucking do that?
If I have somebody flatlining in a hospital over and over again, but we keep giving him adrenaline and he keeps waking up, you wouldn't say that him flatlining over and over again isn't a threat to the country because we can keep waking him up. Yeah, so far the guardrails are kind of sort of holding. He's doing a fuck ton of damage in the meantime, though.
Such as what? He's being mean to the media still?
Well, let's see. He has completely destroyed our relationship with basically every other fucking country on the planet. He's made us less prepared for any kind of long-term engagement with China. He has blown up one of the trade deal with the 2 largest trading partners that we have, which is Mexico and Canada. He's caused our closest allied trading nations to look to China for new trade stuff, which is what Carney's talking about. He's undermined the capability of NATO such that countries in Europe now are looking to forming their own military alliance and don't even know if NATO would show up for any fucking help. He has given Israel the reign over the entire fucking Middle East, such that we're talking about a second military engagement in fucking Iran after he tore up the trade deal or the joint pact action, whatever bullshit, the Iranian nuclear deal in his first fucking term. Do you want me to keep going?
You can keep going. Yeah, let's keep going.
Like, so some of those things are not bad things.
Hold on, Derek,
Let's keep
hold on,
going. He's appointed. He's had 3 or 4 Supreme Court picks so far. Some of these Supreme Court people are some of the most retarded fucking judges we've had of all fucking time. He has pressured the judiciary in ways that I don't know if we're ever going to come back from, where people aren't trusting justices, people aren't trusting court rulings. Today he went on TV and he literally said these are bad rulings and I don't believe them. He has given future actual fascists, people that actually have the state of mind to do this, the boldness to challenge the law and to challenge our judiciary in ways they've never had before. The idea of having a vice president like Vance, who, by the way, said that he thought that Trump might be a fucking Nazi, all right, that he might be actually fucking Hitler, that he's given that guy the courage to possibly test the rails in the future in a more intelligent way than Donald Trump has. Let's see. 2 American citizens were murdered. We've got $100 billion more money for ICE. We've solidified Trump's tax cuts that have added over $5 trillion to the debt. What else?
Okay,
Go ahead.
Okay.
hold on a second.
Sorry,
Give
okay.
it to Steelborn. Steelborn, go ahead.
Real quick, so Destiny, hold on. Then wouldn't Vance be the greatest threat to free speech and not Donald Trump?
No, because Vance isn't the president of the United States.
Yes, but you said Trump's off his rocker, and he's clearly not able to think straight. He's absolutely destroying the country, and he's destroying all of our trade deals and destroying all of our international relations. But somehow this guy is going to be the evil dictator who's going to come in, or maybe even I'll just grant that he's not going to be the evil dictator who comes in, but he opens the path for it. But wouldn't still the evil dictator be the greatest threat to free speech and not Trump?
We're not at that point yet. But if he were to be the next president, then I'd probably say, yeah, he is.
But you
like
realize that
Vance?
one of the critiques he had was that judges are retards in the
Hold
whole
on, is
Gish Gallop that
Vance
he's on there
currently in
for 2
office?
minutes.
He's kind of he's the vice president.
And he's the second in line, right?
Theoretically, yeah.
Okay, so then Vance has political power. He has office. Right? He can actually, enact political pressure on people. And he's way smarter than Donald Trump, and he's a Nazi, but Trump's the greatest threat to free speech.
Okay,
not the person who's
Steelborn.
I don't understand. Like, I understand that you have
Wait,
just real quick.
that's-
I know you don't have any political fucking know-how, but if you're gonna sit here and you're gonna try to
Everyone's
argue to me,
Nazis and
you're gonna sit here and try to argue to me, don't you think that Vance would be a larger threat to freedom in the United States than Donald Trump? My answer would be, yeah, absolutely fucking yes. The only reason he's not is because one, he's a vice president, two, he probably doesn't have the same popular appeal that Trump does, such that I don't think the Republicans follow him. But there are people more dangerous than Trump in Trump's admin, like Stephen Miller, like JD Vance, abso-fucking-lutely, like Steve Witkoff, our fucking ambassador or envoy to whatever these other fucking countries who's running around cutting all these deals with fucking Trump's businesses. Yeah, but Trump is the president right now, so he's kind of the guy that the buck stops with. So that's kind of how it works.
But he's the guy that the buck stops with. So why does the
Steelborn.
court keep overruling him if the buck stops with him?
That's
How
not
does that
what
even
that
work?
means. The buck stops with you
okay.
doesn't mean that you own the courts.
No.
Okay,
If the buck stops with him,
Steelborn.
I mean, he's the final decision.
Steelborn.
But hold on a sec, Dev. Hold on a sec. But
Okay.
the buck stops with Trump, right? He's the one. So if that's the case, then how is the court overruling him? The only other way that you get out of this is either A, you didn't mean that the buck literally stopped with
You
Trump.
don't know what
You
the
mean-
buck stops. When it says the buck stops with you, it means that you bear the ultimate responsibility for your decision, not that you can make decisions that overrule courts.
Well, it depends on what way you're using it. You can
No,
say the
it
buck stops
doesn't.
with the king, and he has the most power.
Nobody uses the
Like,
buck
you can bring
stops
it
like
up,
that.
or the buck- hold on,
Nobody
does
uses
the-
it that way.
hold on.
Supreme Court.
In
Hold on,
fact,
does the
if you
buck
were
stop-
talking
hold
to
on,
a
I
king
wanna
that would
hear
execute,
Debs.
when you go, the buck stops with you, king, you'd probably get executed
Hold
for
on.
saying that.
Hold on, Destiny. Does the buck stop with the ruling by the Supreme Court?
No, you wouldn't use the buck stops there. That doesn't make any sense. It's fucking retarded.
If somebody says, "Well, hold on, I want to appeal to a
Oh
higher
my
court," well, you
God.
can't. The buck stops with them. They are the authority. They're the highest
the
authority.
buck stops is usually talking about an autonomy decision-making apparatus. The buck stops with you, so you have the responsibility for this particular thing you've done. The courts are just there to ensure the responsibility exists. They don't take responsibility for that. You could say, if you were talking about like the buck stops with the court insofar as determining like how to interpret the law, I guess, sure. But for the actions the president takes, just because there's oversight doesn't mean that the buck stops with the person who has oversight over what he does. He's the decision maker.
Okay, I'll just grant that. But hold on.
Cool.
How is the
Wait,
how
what was
is
Dev
this
saying? I feel
retard
like
the
Dev has
greatest
been
threat?
Dev
Yeah, here
was-
I'll jump in here real quick, Steelborn. Okay, so just so I know what you're saying, you said earlier that wouldn't Vance be a greater threat to free speech than Trump, right? Do
Yeah.
you believe that?
I don't think I personally I don't think Trump's really that much of a threat to free speech. But I don't think that Biden was really that much of a threat to free speech. Ultimately, I don't think either of these guys are really that big of an issue when it comes to free speech because you have way more way more rules. Like if the United States government actually were to start like massively limiting free speech for people, you don't think that I think there would be an actual insurrection at that point. And I don't mean even by
Yeah,
the
but-
citizenry.
Okay, but
Just
okay,
notice
but hold on. So do you think that Vance is a greater threat to free speech than Trump then?
No, I'm saying by your guys' standard, saying Trump's a complete fucking retard and Vance is way smarter than him, and Vance would actually, let's say Trump's paving the way for Vance, right?
Okay, no, I
Because
understand. I understand. I know what you're saying. I'm asking by your standard though.
By my standard, no.
So who is worse than for free speech, Trump or Vance?
I
But by your
don't really
standard.
think- I don't think either of them are really like if you're between the two of them. Maybe Vance because he's actually a little more like based in his theology because he's at least he's a Catholic. So like he would have the view that he has like divine command. I don't know. But like I don't think Trump
Okay.
would necessarily make the same claim.
I'd say the Democrats.
Well, no, the question was
That's like
between
not
Trump
the
and
law.
Vance. So like if I had to actually think about it, maybe Vance.
I mean, okay.
But
fair
I
enough.
still don't think either of them are actually that much of a threat to free speech.
And you also don't think that you don't think that Biden was either, right? Like you think none of these guys.
I
are
don't
really,
think
like,
Biden
it
was
doesn't
smart
really
enough
matter?
to be a threat to free speech.
Who do you think was
Okay,
smarter? Wait,
I mean-
who do you think is smarter, Trump or Biden?
I would say
Oh,
Trump's
Trump,
still
bro.
is smarter than Biden.
What? How? What?
Bro,
what is like a
Biden
single?
fell
watched-
up a pair
I
of
watched-
stairs.
I
What are you
watched
talking
Biden-
about, Destiny Biden?
You realize Trump
I
fell down the
watched
stairs
Biden
too,
be a
right?
doddering idiot for 4 years and
No,
constantly mumble and say
Biden
shit that
fell
make
Oh,
sense.
wait. Hold
The
on, wait.
stairs.
Biden was a bumbling idiot. Can you tell me the last intelligent
Bro,
thing you heard
no,
Donald Trump
how did
say
he
in the
fall
past
up a stairs?
5
He defied
years?
physics.
5 years of him being president? I'm just curious. What's one insightful thing that he said? What's one thing
Bro,
that he said?
If you're telling
I don't
me,
look at my presidents.
the
I don't look at my
For
honor
president's
intelligence?
guidance on these kinds of things.
Okay.
No, for these kinds of for
Unbelievable.
like intellectual guidance. No, I don't look to the president for that. I look to the president to make sure that my nation isn't being destroyed. Basically, I look to my president to make sure that I am not
You
my
don't think
country
being
isn't currently
intelligent is
bombed.
like a part of that? Knowing how to navigate like a leadership environment, picking people who are trustworthy?
Yeah, I would still say that I think Trump's far more intelligent than Biden was because at the very least, Trump was at least a successful businessman.
He wasn't. I don't know where you get. Well, he was a successful TV star, but
Sure, he ran a business though doing that, made
Okay.
money doing that.
yeah, The Apprentice, sure. But Biden was a successful politician, and the president is a politician. Not
I
a
know
movie
he
star.
didn't want to see his kids in a racial jungle.
Not
I mean,
a-
he was
not
so
a-
smart. He contradicted
I
himself.
don't know what that has to do with anything. Donald Trump wanted to have the Central Park Five all executed after they were acquitted by a judge. So I don't know if you want to play that game. We can play that game, but
Yeah, Trump using rhetoric. Trump's always used rhetoric.
that wasn't Trump using rhetoric. That was like in the 80s, 90s. This is before he was even a fucking political person.
No,
but
he
that's again.
still used a lot of rhetoric back then. He was always that kind of a person on TV.
What is
Okay, so
using
the reason
rhetoric
I-
mean? Is that like a fancy way of saying you say shit with no responsibility? What does that the fucking mean?
No, like you just say off the cuff shit.
That's not using rhetoric. That's called being a retard. But dipshits like you
Sure,
excusing it for some reason.
Okay. I want to hear what Dev has to say. Dev, go ahead.
So the reason I ask this is because the debate prompt is Trump the greatest threat to free speech that we've seen in a generation? And you don't seem to think that Trump is, but you also don't seem to think that Biden was either. Like, you don't seem to think that Obama was. Like, I don't know what you're doing
what
here.
is?
Okay, so can I ask the question? So the reason why I'm having a little bit of trouble answering the question, I think you'll understand my position if I explain it, is because I'm trying to understand, is the question like things that they want to do, or like have the capacity to do so, like based on their intelligence and their know-how of the law and stuff?
Maybe things that they're doing.
This was not.
Okay, so things that they're actively doing.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say that Biden was more of a at least the Biden administration was more of a threat to free speech than the Trump administration.
How?
I don't think that Biden was necessarily even really the head of his own administration, because he didn't really.
How? Wait, how? What is your example? How is he more of a threat? How is his administration more of a threat?
I watched Biden perform Roombas on stage.
How
dude.
was he the administration more of a threat?
How was the administration more of a threat by establishing parts different government official? I can't fucking. God damn it, words are hard. By establishing different groups within the government, especially with the DHS, of the disinformation governance board. I'm sorry, I don't want the government ever making a board to censor information like that. I don't because the problem is you gotta if Trump were to make a group called like the Disinformation Governance Board, for example, where we're going to censor different disinformation coming from people in the media and stuff like that, wouldn't you think that would be like a massive threat to? How the fuck are you? Who are you to decide what is mis and disinformation?
Isn't that what Donald Trump does every single day? He goes on to TV and he claims that all of the ICE protests are massively funded by George Soros, or when he claims that there was mass election fraud in 2020 with no evidence, or like, doesn't Donald Trump try to rewrite history constantly?
Hold on. Does Trump believe those things?
Okay.
I just answer the question honestly. Does he actually believe that that's the case?
No.
Which one doesn't he believe?
He doesn't believe in any of them. He has no evidence for any of them, so I don't think he believes in any of them. But then you're going to say, how can you read his mind?
No, that's not what I was saying. Do you have evidence for every single belief that you hold? And do you think most people have evidence for every single belief? Like, let me ask something. Do you think that
if I was going to go out and proclaim something in front of the country that somebody was doing a whole bunch of crime or fraud, you better fucking believe I would have evidence of it. Yes.
Destiny, do you think that Christians believe in God?
Probably, yeah.
Do you think that most Christians and honestly,
hold on, actually, wait. Do you think that before you say something in front of the country, before you start making sweeping, broad accusations, that you should have evidence for those claims?
Yeah, I think you should. Sure.
Did Donald Trump have any evidence of mass protesters being paid or of mass election fraud in the 2020 election?
I can grant that you should have evidence.
Did Donald Trump have any evidence that he presented to the American people that mass protesters are being paid by some Soros-like foundation, or that there was mass fraud in the 2020 election?
I can just say no, because it doesn't matter to
then
the
he
point
didn't.
that I'm trying to make.
So then he probably should have. Probably irresponsible to do that.
There were questions around that.
No, we're not talking about questions.
Suspicions
Sorry,
and
we're
stuff.
not in retard world. We're the president of the United States. You have access to more investigatory power than any other agency on the entire fucking planet. You need more than just questions. Sorry.
I can just grant that. I can grant that
Then he
he's
shouldn't have done that.
irresponsible and that he shouldn't have done it.
Exactly. Cool.
Sure.
Awesome. Cool.
Sure, he shouldn't have done it.
Cool.
But hold on, if he doesn't have evidence, he shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But does he actually believe it?
How would I ascertain that?
Based on actions that he takes after the statement.
Okay, so the fact that he asked his attorney general to investigate these things, his deputy attorney general, President or Vice President Pence, the fact that he was asking people to investigate these things, and when they came back to him, they said, we investigated it, we found nothing, but he continues to repeat the same bullshit claims over and over and over again, that's what leads me to believe that he didn't ever actually believe in them.
No.
Maybe he distrusted them.
I would argue against that. I would argue against that. He's strong. He must strongly have believed in it, because if you were like adamant that this must have taken place and you were completely convinced,
then how could you ever if that's what you're going to say, then how could you, if that's what you want to say, then how could you ever prove, yeah, keep filibustering, you retarded fuck, keep filibustering, you drunk fucking dipshit. Your mom was drinking alcohol, not eating Advil or Tylenol, okay? The question is, I'm asking a very clear question. I'm asking a very clear question, super clear question. How do you prove that Donald Trump was lying? How can you ever know that then? If you can't use any information about any of the information about him, around him, how can you prove that he was lying?
I didn't say that. No, I said you can't prove. You can't actually prove the intent.
You can't prove anybody's state of mind ever. So we can just never speak to anybody's state of mind ever.
No, you could do this by like at least seeing what he says in private versus in public, where he's always maintained this consistent position of he thinks the election was stolen.
I'm critiquing your claim here, Destiny. One sec. I'm critiquing your claim. You're the one that claimed that just because Trump got these guys to investigate, and when they came back with the things, he continued on and kept
Okay,
exploring
listen-
down that
listen
avenue.
for a
You said
minute.
that must
Listen.
have that
Does
must
that-
prove
does
that he
this
was
mean that he's
lying.
lying?
Matter
But
to
that
the
doesn't
overall
prove
point of the
that
Okay.
could also prove that he was
Okay.
just so convinced that he kept pursuing
guys,
it.
okay, wait. Do you guys know that on Lex Friedman, Trump said that he lost?
Yeah, he did officially, according to the official report, he did lose the election. That doesn't
Yeah,
mean
no,
he
no,
doesn't believe that it was stolen.
So
No,
wait, do you think that
he
it might be
said
possible
that
that
he
Trump is
lost.
suffering from psychosis, that he's delusional? Because what do you call it if you have a
Doesn't-
fixed belief that it doesn't change, regardless of you losing 63 court cases, regardless of every single investigatory body around you saying that there is no evidence? If all of these people are saying there are none, and the only thing saying that there is some evidence are crazy videos on YouTube, is there a chance that Trump might just be fucking insane?
Or you could just be wrong.
Well, then you can make the case for every single married person across the country.
Good one, Mr.
But there's
Potato
no
Head.
evidence that this
What's
person's
the
going to live
difference?
the rest of
How
life
could
with
you
you, but
ever
you still
prove?
married them and
How
all
could
this
you
kind of
ever
shit. Do you know what I
prove
mean?
then ever, or how could you ever know with any
I'm
degree of
just giving
certainty?
counters.
How could you
Yeah.
ever know with any degree of certainty that somebody's just lying to you? If they maintain the lie constantly, then you're just always going to assume.
Munchausen's trilemma. Like the whole certainty is like 100% absolute, like without a shadow of a doubt. and
No
all this
one's
kind of
looking
shit.
for
It's like, you can't
100%
actually get that.
certainty. We don't operate in 100% certainty. We ascertain people's states
Yeah,
of mind
we're
all
just
the
saying
fucking
that
time.
Trump could have been convinced.
I'm not
that,
asking for
like, that
could
that was
have.
fraud.
Yeah, there's a 1% chance maybe, but it's far more likely that he's just lying.
What's your evidence for that?
The fact that he was told by all of the people he asked to investigate that there was no fucking fraud, and then he chose to continue
Yeah.
on with the same debunked claims anyway, it's probably evidence that he's
And
just
he could have
lying.
been convinced.
Convinced and all these things that just so happen to
hold on,
benefit him.
as
Oh,
the favorite,
oh
as
my
the famous
God.
atheist quote. Hold on, I remain unconvinced by the evidence that you've presented.
Then why did he ask them to do the
Alhamdulillah,
investigation anyway?
Habibi.
Okay.
Wait. Why would he ask them to do the investigation if he wasn't going to believe them unless they gave him the answer that he wanted?
He could be suffering. Maybe it could be a confirmation bias thing. That could be one. Or
So
it
he's
could
delusional.
Be,
So he's
I
delusional.
believe that this is,
So he's delusional. Let's just say that. More than Biden was,
Sure,
right?
I'll
He's
just-
delusional. He's delusional. Trump is crazy. That's fine. If that's your position.
Sure, I'll just grant it.
Trump is crazy. Okay, cool. I'm good with that.
Okay, so the
His
crazy guy is the
intention
biggest threat to
is-
free speech when everything he tries to do gets overturned or rejected. He's
Not
the biggest
everything
threat
he
to free
tries
speech.
to do, and you can do a lot of damage along the way. The tariffs just got overturned, but they've been in place for a year, so they're doing damage.
Hold on. How is tariff means he's the biggest threat to free speech?
No,
You can say maybe he's the biggest threat to the
Oh
economy,
my
but not free
God.
speech because of tariffs.
Hold on. You understand he's giving an example of how you can do damage.
He
even
knows.
though
He's just
that
debate
you were
broing.
eventually stopped from doing.
Yes,
it.
I know, but I don't understand how that what that has to do with his claim of he's the greatest threat to free speech.
He was answering one of your claims with that example. He wasn't
Okay,
speaking to the major overall claim that was being made.
Speaking of one of your claims, because again, I hang out in right-wing spaces. The things that you guys say do kind of ping my memory sometimes, so I dug this up from my files. You were talking about the Disinformation Governance Board under the Biden administration, right? What was your
Yeah, I do
objection
believe
to
it
that?
was late.
What was your objection to it?
I don't want the government ever deciding what's disinformation or misinformation. I'd rather be debated in the marketplace of ideas.
How does the CDC approve drugs? Or the FDA approve drugs?
That can be empirically demonstrated.
Oh my God. But misinformation can't be?
If you can actually demonstrate that the information is false, then you can make a public statement saying this is false. Not if you say false shit because you believe it, therefore we're going to censor you. You could just say this guy's like okay, the community notes aspect of X I think is far better for actually determining what's misinformation.
Who did
or
the Biden
disinformation.
admin censor?
What?
Exactly.
No,
Sorry,
I'm
go
saying
ahead, Dev.
the
so-
concept behind that.
Yeah, I understand the concept. So, do you know what the Disinformation Governance Board actually was?
Well, they were monitoring stuff online, but they weren't actually like censoring stuff themselves. But did you see
Oh,
how
he even
it
knew?
could definitely- it
You
could
see how
do
he
that.
knew the answer to that, Dev? But he brought it up hoping that you would. Nice.
No, I hoped you guys would know what was going on with the Disinformation Board. I know that you guys have vast knowledge.
I had
of
to
the
be
Biden
reminded. I had to be
administration.
reminded. I had to be reminded. So yeah, its primary purpose was to monitor foreign states like Russia, China, Iran, and then also terrorist groups, human smuggling organizations, and basically to kind of sniff out the propaganda of these foreign organizations. But also, they were what is known as an advisory board of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. An advisory board is a non-binding board, meaning that they will do
agree with that.
research, they will bring information to the DHS, and the DHS will choose to act on it or not. So it wasn't
Okay,
a
got it.
censorship board.
I'm
It
not
was-
saying that it's a censorship board. I'm saying the idea of the government ever
Well,
establishing.
then how is it a threat to free speech?
because the government getting to establish what's disinformation is not the way to go about censoring information. It's not even.
Its
I don't think you should really
recommendations were
censor information.
non-binding.
They
Its
didn't censor
recommendations were
anything.
non-binding.
Also, why wouldn't we want the government that has access to more resources than any other single entity in the entire planet? Why wouldn't we want them to have some investment in protecting us from people blatantly fucking lying to us? Especially actors in
Because-
other countries.
Because there's such thing as the noble lie.
Okay, just real quick. If you were so concerned about this disinformation governance board, you do realize that it shut down in 3 months because both right-wingers and far left-wingers screamed so fucking loudly about it on the internet that it lost all credibility and it was immediately closed down?
Yes, I'm aware.
And it was
But I'm asking,
somehow
wouldn't
a
you guys
greater threat
freak
to
the
free
fuck
speech
out?
than Trump?
No, I didn't say no. I'm saying the concept of having the government regulating information is what I think is a much more of a threat to free speech.
Well, sure, but that's not what this was.
I know that's not what this was. I'm saying the concept behind it, and could that concept be brought
Then
forward?
why bring it up?
Because I'm
Okay,
saying
so-
the concept of that, like you could get
Let, let
like
me,
okay,
let me ask you, Steelborn. Okay, we've had reports, and assuming these reports are true, of the DHS subpoenaing people who are critical of ICE, and subpoenaing the Facebook and X and Google and Gmail for their personal information to get their names, addresses, and access to their emails and DMs and social media. Do you think that is a threat to people's free speech?
yeah, but that's also why I was against that's why I'm against the Patriot Act, and I think that
It's
also
not
like
as to
that
the
should be
Patriot
removed.
Act. Why did you back up to something more general when there's a specific action that Donald Trump took?
Hey, hold on. Did Donald Trump take this?
Yes, well,
that's what he's
Donald
referring
Trump's
to.
DHS is doing this now. Yes.
Okay, can you demonstrate that the orders came from Trump?
It's so fucking good.
Okay,
Look, if
that's
you can
case,
demonstrate
then.
the orders
So-
came from
'cause-
Trump, then I'll say he shouldn't have done that.
No, because they just kind of went. Okay, so like if the Republicans are in charge, then it's the Republicans DHS. You just made that association. So
The
when
difference
Trump
is
was
that
impeached-
Republican-
one
yes, the
sec,
reason why-
when
Oh,
Trump
sorry,
was
let him
impeached
filibuster. Go
the
ahead.
second time for his speech. Yeah, so when
Yeah,
Trump was
go ahead.
impeached for his speech,
Yeah.
like was that a chilling effect for free speech?
Hopefully, a chilling
When a
effect on
president
inciting
was
insurrections.
impeached.
Hopefully.
But it was a speech.
So is your
sure,
mom.
we can
And we're talking about
acknowledge-
like remember when
Hold
like the
on,
whole
we can
thing of
just
like we had the
acknowledge
sad
that
music,
yes,
the rain on the
that-
music.
yeah, I'll just grant
Yeah.
you. I'll just grant you that some of the censorship towards right wingers and towards Trump was chilling to free speech. My argument, and I think the argument that is being made,
I'm
is
not
that-
granting
that
what
is-
he just granted, just to be clear. I'm not doing that, but
that
go
is
ahead.
far less chilling than Trump's DHS, whom he appointed, staffed, and set policies for, is going after private citizens for being critical of the government and subpoenaing for their information to de-anonymize them, and in some cases sending the FBI to their door. Like one gentleman who wrote a judge asking for clemency or mercy for an asylum seeker.
But
5
wait,
hours after he did that, federal agents came to his door to investigate him. That is far more chilling because it affects more people, and it is a matter of policy by the state rather than policy of a corporation.
But do you not see that it's far more chilling that there's a faceless entity that is both impeaching the president and like just causing more and more.
Who has more
of
power,
these
the
scenarios.
government of the United States or Facebook?
And impeachment is a thing
Whatever
that all
entity
of
can
Congress
control
has
the-
to
the-
like.
the
There's
government of the United
you need
States.
majorities in Congress to do these things, not just a single person.
Yep.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Is
Earlier,
like what I've been trying to point to is the actual system, the system that like I said that like even if you make the claim against Trump that he's a retard, he can't even tie his own shoelaces, that he somehow managed to become president. That is it not a flawed system?
Why
When we
do you-
said
why
that
do you
thing
keep
with the DHS,
misunderstanding this?
One sec to bring it back.
Why do you keep
I'm not
misunderstanding
misunderstanding. I'll
this?
bring it back to the point. You were the
Are
one that
you,
made the
like,
claim it was
diagnosed
Trump's
retarded,
DHS, which
or is
means
this just like a thing
because
you-
Trump's
like a
in
play you
power,
put
that
on,
means
or?
it's Trump's responsibility of the DHS. So now you're going to then back out and say, no, it's not actually the system, it's just Donald Trump.
The difference
how can Donald Trump even
because
get into the top of the
when you're
system
talking
in
about
the
the
first
system or
place?
whatever, the difference is that Donald Trump himself uniquely, and by the way, this is one of the issues that everybody has with Donald Trump, is Donald Trump uniquely says that he can order every single person in every single department to do whatever he wants to do exactly. That's a unique thing with Donald Trump that other presidents haven't done historically. It's considered not good. So when Donald Trump tells his attorney general to prosecute somebody, that's the thing that presidents typically don't do. You're not supposed to do that as president. Donald Trump's decided to start doing that. So that's one of the reasons why we hold him more accountable for what his agencies do than maybe even other presidents have passed, because he's wanted to take the reins directly on all of them, and he says as much publicly.
Yeah, so instead of being one person, so you actually have a name, you have basically a faceless amalgamation of whoever was in the room when that thing was being signed. Was like, that was basically the discussion that was being had. So you don't know actually who's coming up with the ideas or who's pushing the narrative or trying to direct the
Although we
the
do
outcome.
You think
know
you
for
cooked
the
hard with
record.
that one? Do you think you were serving it up
Do you
there?
think
You
they
know,
merged
what I'm saying
all
is
when
together
it
like
comes
an
down to
Akira
if
or
a group
something?
makes a decision, how do you understand or how do you find out who's actually solely responsible? With Trump, you have an individual, so you're able to make the claims. Oh, Trump is the evil one, and then when we say it's actually the system. He's like, no, because
I think
like
we
said,
should just.
people-
I think we should get rid of Congress. Just have one person make all
Yeah.
the decisions, so that we can always see who's doing it. That would be based, right?
No, what I'm saying is your critique fundamentally.
That's what I'm
boils down to
saying.
the
No,
fact
I'm
that it's
agreeing
like
with
it's
you.
Trump
Actually,
that's
you
the one that's
totally
making
changed my
decisions.
mind on all forms of representative democracies or having boards or whatever. You just have one person in charge of things, and then you
Yeah, your
always have a face to
fundamental
attach.
complaint is it's an individual telling someone what to do rather than a group of individuals telling someone what to do.
Yeah, you're right. That's why we should have one person charging everybody with everything. Just one person doing it all.
Okay, so
So
just
you're
real quick.
you're not
Hold-
willing to
hold on.
concede at
So,
all
just
that
wait.
that
Let me
impeachment.
I just
a
conceded the
president
whole
free
argument.
speech,
I
puts
just
the
said
chilling
that
effect on
one
free
guy
speech.
should make
With
all
Trump
the choices,
losing a
and that would
lawsuit.
be
One
the
sec,
base thing.
Destiny. I just want to get this on the record.
Uh-huh.
You're saying that there is no way that that impeaching a president for speech is chilling on free speech, but then a president losing a lawsuit is chilling on free speech.
I'm gonna steal all your
I don't even
fucking
know
potatoes.
what the. I'm not actually
What?
even sure what the fuck you just said. I'm sorry.
Can you rephrase that?
Okay. Dearborn, do you want to translate? Do you understand it?
I'm gonna
Are
be totally
you
honest.
saying-
No.
Yeah, no one
okay.
understands
So,
you, bro.
The accent.
okay,
It was the
don't
accent
worry,
for
don't
me,
worry.
and I was
I
reading.
got you. Yeah, don't worry. I got you. All right. You're saying that Trump being impeached for speech, that's not chilling on free speech.
He wasn't
But
impeached for
Trump
free
losing
speech.
a lawsuit. Yeah, just listen to the whole thing. You wanted to, because apparently you understood that, but then I have to repeat it. So I'll do it again. You're saying that Trump getting impeached for speech, that was not chilling on free speech, but Trump losing a lawsuit is chilling on free speech. That's been your whole, that's the whole debate.
What did I say about chilling effects? Did I say that all chilling effects are bad? Is it bad to chill illegal behavior?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Let me read
Wick,
some different-
Wick, were you eating
ahead.
some
Like,
chilled
I
pizza
don't
there
understand this
earlier?
whole thing where like you base trail off and it's like you don't have an answer to the question. You're gonna say I don't
haven't
know,
answered
or
the
it's like,
question.
actually, that's a good point,
Impeachment
Teriak.
is a
That
political
a
process that
contradiction.
involves the Congress. There is huge oversight there. Okay, if somebody's been impeached, they probably did a really bad thing. So when you ask me, is there a chilling effect that's created around impeachment? I would say, yeah. I hope that future presidents don't want to do things that would get them impeached. That's part of our system of governance. That's literally the
Yeah.
number one way we have of holding
So,
people accountable.
That
yes.
was okay.
Hold on, Destiny. Do you
chill-
think that?
to
Hold on.
ch-
Do
to
you
chill
think that
free
every
speech.
time the Republicans do something, they do something they're doing it because they're making sure to follow the Constitution, or do you think that like the Republicans can sometimes target like specific Democrat officials in order to like I don't know maybe try to impeach a Democrat president? They could hypothetically do that. They could try to impeach them for they might give like official reasons, but clearly it's like this is a fucking witch hunt.
Yeah.
They're just doing this because it's political. Okay, so why aren't Democrats just as capable of doing the exact same thing?
Because they tend not to.
Oh, just because they tend not to, but they are still capable of doing that.
They could, yeah. And if they were doing it, then I would be criticizing them.
Okay, so then by
Make a
that
little
standard, then
money.
impeachment is not always a good chilling effect.
I'm gonna make a little money.
If you abuse, I mean, that's like saying aren't cops bad because some cops can be bad? What the fuck kind
Oh
of?
no, that's not what I'm saying.
That's exactly what you're saying.
What he's saying is it's okay to put a chilling effect on free speech when it's Trump, but when it's not Trump, it's not okay to put a chilling effect on free speech.
No, it's when you do the things
It's
that Trump
completely
has done. It's
contradictory.
the
It's when you
actions,
do
it's the
illegal
actions.
things. Then that illegal thing should probably be chilled. Yes, that's why you have criminal laws.
So like we should have closed the borders.
Yeah,
Because
so
that's
like,
illegal.
I don't know what that has to
overinflate,
do
making sure
with-
the companies
I don't know what
make
happened.
What a
sure
Okay, I'm gonna read
pivot.
some
Okay,
different-
here's
Hold on,
Steelborn.
That was
Steelborn.
a hard
One
pivot.
second,
I
heard the rubber
Wait,
squeaking
this
from
for a
here.
while
real
now.
quick,
Hold on,
just
hold on,
real
hold on,
quick,
hold on.
real quick.
I want to make.
Like, would you say that overinflating poll numbers?
I'm gonna make a little
put
money.
chilling effect on that?
You're not gonna interrupt my money. $5 from Odashara to ask the Rightoids this. Can the Rightoids answer this question? What is the issue with attempted murder or attempted rape? It didn't happen, so there's no issue, correct?
No, I would say
Assault.
intent behind it.
Okay. So earlier, when you said it was dismissed, so there's no issue, right?
That wouldn't be the same. That
Is
wouldn't
it
be like okay. So like if the question was should somebody be charged for attempted murder? Yeah, I would say you should be charged for it. But if you're charged for attempted murder and the case is dismissed, then you didn't. There's like nothing really happened to the person who was charged other than they were charged with it. But if the case was dismissed, there was no real material effects.
Really?
so-
It's not an inconvenience to have a criminal investigation.
Oh,
so-
wait. So now criminal investigations are worse than civil investigations, Destiny?
Did I just say that because criminal investigations were bad, they're suddenly worse than civil things? I like how you were so excited to go there.
Hold on, no. Your position. I just
My
said that,
position
like, okay,
earlier was that criminal stuff isn't necessarily worse than civil stuff. There are examples where civil stuff can be worse
I didn't
than
ask about
criminal stuff.
necessarily. I said, is it worse? Like, would you at least
When
grant
you
it's
say
generally
is it worse and you don't add qualifiers, the implication
Okay,
is
fine, I'll add the
necessarily
qualifier then. Is it
necessarily.
worse generally?
Generally speaking, criminal stuff is probably worse than civil stuff. Yeah, generally speaking, I'd say so. More people are confronted with criminal stuff than civil stuff, for sure.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll-
$10. $10 from Revitalago. Revitalago. Why is it so hard to admit that the president shouldn't call for executions of his political opponents, and that no recent president has ever done this?
I can just. I agree with that though. I don't like that he does that. I don't think he should do it.
Okay, and do you admit at least on that he is worse than past presidents?
On that metric, I would have to be worse than
sure.
that. Worse than past presidents on
$5.
that metric.
Sure. $5 from Hell's Advocate. Ask the cons on the panel. Should women be held accountable for fake sexual assault accusations, even if it's proven they didn't sexual assault? It's that easy. So if someone
the
charges you
conservatives
with
said?
sexually assaulting, if a woman charges you,
False rape allegations. Should
Yes.
women be prosecuted for that?
Okay, so if you make a false allegation about fraud or about sedition, what should happen to you?
I'm actually one of the only people I think on this panel. I'm not in favor of necessarily actually attacking women who make false accusations.
Well,
Unless
Didn't you say that
I'm
the
gonna
women
let me
who
add
make
the
false
qualifier.
accusations should be prosecuted?
No, I didn't say that.
Again,
Did I mishear that?
like,
It might.
No, I never said that. That was never even brought up in this argument once. It was never brought up in this debate.
You understand the difference between rape and fraud, right? Like in terms of like overinflating poll numbers versus like actual rape, like the accusation.
Certainly, but the principle is: should you be charged if you make a false allegation against someone?
Yeah, it's a false analogy.
You
No,
just
no,
got
it's-
fucking owned,
wouldn't-
Wick. Holy shit. Eat shit, loser.
I guess so. I am owned. $2 from J Ren to say the CNN mail bombs. Thank you for that. Kid Iked for I already read that. $5 from Mr. Commit. Would Irish guy concede that the pollster lawsuit was anti-free speech if it had succeeded, or would he say it succeeding proves it was justified?
That's what I'm trying to justify in terms of their position. Like this has been an internal critique on claims that Destiny's made all debate that he just ran from and just done like the whole, okay, you got it, all this kind of shit, and just avoid the question, and not actually refute with the logic. You know what I mean? Because like I said, what is the counter when we're talking about like Trump was the one that was impeached for speech, and then it's okay to have the chilling effects then. So then I'm saying it's like, how do we value this or measure?
impeached.
Wait, hold on. I've already.
When is it
Wait.
good, when is
Just
it
to be
bad?
clear, just so
What is
nobody's.
what is the scale
The
we're going against?
filibuster.
And that's been the whole dodge the whole night. And then you just like, oh, I can't hear your accent.
You listen. If you
Which
want,
is
if you want to
kinda
do,
racist,
if you
not
want to
gonna
do 2 minutes, okay, I'll go back and forth, okay, for 2 minutes. But you have to answer directly, and you've got to ask questions concisely, and you can't filibuster, okay? So, what is the thing you think I've dodged?
In terms of the scale that you're putting the good or bad chilling effect on speeches. When is it a good time? When is it a bad time?
It's good to chill speech that we don't want. It's bad to chill speech that we do want. So a classification of speech that we don't want would be criminal speech. A classification of speech that we do want would be speech that's, say, critical of the government or critical of the media or just critical speech in general.
And we would not want as a society for polling companies to overinflate their numbers, correct?
I believe so. Yes, we wouldn't. We would not. I agree with you. We don't
So
want them to
perhaps
lie.
maybe-
Yes.
Yeah. So perhaps maybe a way to enforce that or to chill that people who might be overinflating their poll numbers would be to bring a lawsuit against one of them, especially the ones that had the most
Not a civil.
difference in
No,
numbers.
not a
For
civil
example, in
lawsuit.
this
Wait,
case
no,
where
no,
it was 16.
not a civil lawsuit. That would be a criminal investigation. And to even start that criminal investigation, you need more proof other than the numbers were wrong.
But it would be one avenue one could take, correct?
What?
Because you said it was a good thing. Because ultimately, you said the chilling of the speech was the main thing. Like that's the main issue here, and the fact that you just agreed that like we don't want polling companies to overinflate their numbers. So this could actually be a way, although not 100% in terms of the execution. Maybe like I said in the specifics, but in terms of the general kind of like idea here, you actually are in favor of what Trump's doing here.
But the general and
But
the
you see the way you're going to dodge
no,
this?
no,
Sam?
I'm not dodging. I'm answering your fucking question. The specific example here matters. If Donald Trump would have come out and said, the DOJ has been notified that Ann Seltzer was cooking the books, that she was ignoring certain polling information because she wanted to get a more favorable outcome. So now we're investigating the Seltzer polling company or whatever. And maybe that would result in them seeking an indictment in a grand jury. I would be okay with that. But that's different than Donald Trump launching a civil suit personally and saying, I'm suing her because I think she made it all up because they're jealous of me, with no proof and not even stating any claims whatsoever. He didn't state any evidence that there was fraud or rigging.
Same outcome though.
Same what? No, it's not the same outcome.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Because now
companies
when you're
gonna
looking
be
at
a
the
lot
president of the
less-
United States, now you're thinking the president might come after me just because I publish a poll that he doesn't like, rather than I'm being fraudulent in my polling.
And you're going to make sure that the 100% you can back up exactly what you publish.
But she already could.
is
She already
the same
could. She
outcome.
did. No, it's not the same outcome because you
Same
might
outcome,
not
yeah.
publish a poll now because you're just worried that you might be sued by the president and you'll go out of business if he sues you.
Yeah, but as a utilitarian, it's like outcome is the outcome. That's all that matters. So it's like the outcome is the same.
No, as a utilitarian,
companies are gonna be
it's
more
the
accurate with their
repeated
numbers.
outcome over a large volume of events. That's why a utilitarian generally won't be in favor of a person walking into a hospital and being executed so their organs can be given to 5 other people because they would say that no person would ever go to a hospital anymore, so the overall effect would be bad on society. So a utilitarian would not be in favor of the president of the United States doing personal lawsuits against pollsters on the outcome that once or twice it might turn out okay because it would probably cause a massive chilling effect on most other legitimate pollsters.
Okay, $5 from
Yeah,
Kid
but like
Eich.
that's a good thing because it's going to be accurate numbers then.
Okay, I'm gonna make a little more money now. $5 from Kid Eich. The Irish fellow probably thinks the Troubles refer to him trying to tie his shoes. Thank you for that. $2 from Sifu KFJ. Didn't Obama drop a bomb on an American citizen? $5 from Trivaka. To the two conservatives, is it okay Trump and his admin to internally use polygraph tests and purge staff in the FBI who were directed to investigate January 6th?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Is it okay that Trump and his administration internally polygraph tested FBI members and purged the ones who were directed to investigate?
Oh, I
January
didn't
6th?
see that. That's the first time I'm hearing of it.
Well, no, I'm not. That actually wasn't what I was going to say. So nice try, but. So, the one thing I wanted to ask, just in clarification, was because I remember reading on this. I remember reading the story. I just don't remember all of the details. So what I wanted to ask was it? Did he only just basically purge people who were just involved with the J6 investigation, like at all, or was it?
Ones that were
Was
directed
it people who
to
failed polygraph
investigate,
tests?
Right, the ones that were directed to investigate and look into the January 6th insurrection. The allegation is that Trump had his admin use polygraph tests to find out who was involved in that, and then they fired those who were involved. Do you think that that is a negative thing, a bad thing?
Yeah, I would say that's bad.
Okay.
I'd say neither bad nor good. If you have people who are suspect of being treason or acting against the country, then like that is going to be one of the like methodologies where you extract truth.
Okay. $10 from Jiu-Jitsu. For the two conservatives, do you believe Trump calling to fuck with the libel laws is a gross violation of free speech, or have you also not heard about that?
No, I've heard about that. I just don't think that it's a massive threat to free speech because Trump uses, bombastic rhetoric constantly.
Okay. $5 for my listening
We call
library.
him Mr. Bombastic.
While we are
He's
waiting for these guys to
fantastic.
expand on their sedition views, an awesome album came out this week, Casino by B.B. Keem, $5 gang, thank you for $5. $2 from Big Leafy Tree. Can Irish dude prove he graduated high school?
No, my mom took Tylenol, unfortunately.
Okay,
that's
real
what my chat
serious.
tells me.
Sure, real serious.
It
for
was extra
100
strength.
ARS.
Extra strength.
Question for the right wingers: if a tiger is in a cage and there's a drunk dude running around with the keys to the cage, should we keep an eye on the tiger or the drunk guy?
I mean, I would say both, but I think the drunk guy might be a little easier to regulate.
Might be someone
What is
you
this question?
would pay attention to a little bit more because, even though they're drunk, even though they're retarded, even though they're dumb, they have the potential to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, but you could also just stop him. Wouldn't that be the better scenario than just let's wait and monitor?
Okay, $5 from Fell
We should
Runner.
stop
to
him,
say,
you're
like,
right,
You
yes, I
fucking
agree.
workers, true. $5 from Scorn to say these guys are so stupid. I think what Destiny doing to them might actually be a hate crime. Doesn't know how to use chilling effect or buck stops. $5 from Let Icarus to say the buck stops here was popularized by Truman to signify that as president, the ultimate responsibility for decisions rested with him. Steele is dumb. $5 from Mr. Farr from Jordan says dumbest take on the buck stops here idiom. President isn't a king. Dumbest take on Vance. VP is on the sidelines. $10 from Alishness to ask when you ran out of the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular. The smartest president, Donald Trump. 100 ARS from Real Serious. Another question for the right wingers. Can a dumb person with a shotgun rob a bank, even if he's ultimately caught? Does he have to be a criminal mastermind, or is brute force enough?
Well, really there's no so the problem with this is why this is disanalogous is because the bank robber doesn't actually have a whole system of checks and balances, like a massive bureaucracy. He's just an idiot with a gun. Yeah, that's more dangerous. I would say the idiot with a gun is actually more dangerous than if the idiot with the gun has a friend group of fucking philosophers and they're like, no, you shouldn't fucking do that, and we're gonna do something to stop it.
Where's the force, Stillborn? Do you know what I mean? Like, where's the shotgun in this analogy? Like, what's it like? Trump got elected. It was like literally by like non-force means.
Yeah, it's like
by
this
ballot.
would be more analogous if you're like,
What are you talking about?
half the country elected the idiot with the shotgun to go rob the bank.
Yeah, but they can't understand my accent. They can't understand any of this. This
Who
is all
said
like,
anything about not
because-
understanding your accent? I'm just being racist against you to be funny. I understand what you're saying, but what you're saying is stupid. What I just had a 2-minute back
No,
and forth where I responded
I'm not
with
saying
substance
it
to
was a
everything,
bad thing.
with every
I
single thing you
never
said.
said it was-
What do you think
I
I
never
have? What do
said
you
it was a
wait?
bad thing.
What do
You're
you
the
think
one
I
that
said?
thought that when I
What do
said
you
it was
think
kinda
I've
racist,
said?
it was a bad
What
thing.
do you
I-
think I've
I
said?
never said it wasn't a good joke. Or a
What
good jab.
have I not
Don't get me
understood?
wrong.
What have I
Do you know
not
what I mean?
understood
The
from you?
potatoes, I like
What
the
have I
potatoes
not
comments as
understood
well
from
Des.
you? What have
I
I
like
not
a bit more
understood
of
from
that.
you? What have I not
What
understood
about
from
pot of
you?
gold?
What have I not understood from you?
My whole argument that you've been dodging.
I'm sorry. What do you think I dodged? I'll ask you again. I thought we just ran through this. What part of your argument do you think I've
Okay,
dodged?
No. It was my question. Notice the way you say, "How did I dodge?" and then you tried to ask a question. You're very good at this, Destiny. I do have to give
I
you
asked
props.
you
I
what your
respect that, but
question
you're
was.
very good at redirecting.
I asked you what your question
my
was.
question-
That's not me asking a question. That's
Okay,
me asking
so-
you to ask a
okay.
question. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay, I want
Okay,
to
so-
finish these super chats because I want to finish this panel.
Okay, think of your question.
$10 from Robert to say they need hours of political education to understand Destiny. It's like a first grader
Jesus
arguing with the
Christ.
teacher about math being wrong. $10 from Not Rusted Halo. Please ask the Irish guy why is talking about America when BBC legionnaires are pillaging his country.
Why talk about America? Because if you don't realize that, like this is the American Empire, you're an idiot. But go ahead.
Okay. $5 from Bass Guitar to say, is Bondi saying the DOJ will go after hate speech and Trump saying criticizing him is hate speech good or bad for free speech?
I would say that it's bad. I would just grant that it's bad, but also I don't think Trump ever called any of what they were doing hate speech.
He literally did say criticizing him is hate speech on national television.
He was being hyperbolic.
Okay. Thank you for the tier 1 membership, Michael Hatchtube. I really appreciate you. Usurp the Chef for $10. One thing that has surprised me about the MAGA movement is how inclusive of a party they are. Between these two and Nick Surley, it's heartwarming to know that they've opened their arms to literal regards. Well, thank you for the $10. $20 for Per Thomas 8708. This is painful, but Wick deserves some money for suffering through these geniuses. Thank you for the $20. $2 from Kahapro Project Video. I haven't heard about any of this. I have no idea. 100 ARS from Real Serious. One last question for the Irish guy. It's possible to buy IQ in Ireland with his pot of gold. Might be a good investment. And then $5 from J Ray. Wick brought Destiny back on to ragdoll these two Trump-level geniuses. Probably get more money. I'm here for it. $5 from Alishness. Can we get the Irish dude off of Trump's mobile and onto a real internet connection? Like, geez, your ping is higher than your IQ. And then $2 from Mr. Farr from Jordan. Boot Lucky Charms, please. Not for $2. Okay, with that, let's get to closing statements because I'm kind of done.
Actually, wait, just real quick, real quick. I have got one final question. Okay, Steelborn. How much do you actually value free speech yourself, anyway?
It would depend on the context. So I am not a free speech absolutist, never have been. But do I think that like free speech against the government is something that should be regulated? No, I don't. Yes, I do think that you should not be able to be arrested for criticizing the government. That would be a retarded take to have that, especially, you know. Unfortunately, I was born and raised in America, so I do have that American blood in me and the Americana. But like, do I think that? So there are examples of where I think that you could arrest people for speech, but I have a little bit of a conflicting view on
Okay,
this.
I'm going to have to interrupt you guys. $500 from Benjamin
God.
Warner. And I am going to interrupt you for $500 fucking dollars. Thank you.
Fair enough.
Generous. Please ask the Irish guy. Destiny asked to give an example of Biden silencing free speech, and you gave an example of Trump in office. Do you have an example of Biden doing
that? Not off the top of my head. Like I said, I literally woke up.
Hey, $500. Go find one.
I'll go find one right now. Yeah, I can do that
Yeah,
as well.
do
Yeah.
it.
But will I have time? Are we still going into closing, or is that going to be an extension?
Okay. Dev, keep up your line of
yeah.
questioning while he goes.
Here, just real quick, Steelborn. The reason I asked you that is because it sounds like to me you want to arrest every leftist.
No, I wouldn't call. Oh, it's the meme that I posted. Yeah. No, I just thought that the meme was funny, but no, I don't actually call for the arrest of every leftist. I think the people can be, from my view, the people can be wrong, but that doesn't mean you should arrest them for it. But
Okay,
when people
fair
make
enough.
when people make more threats or they say much more violent things, like for example, I'll give you an example. If you had a right winger was saying like, I want to go and off Destiny, I'd be like, yeah, fucking shut that guy up. You shouldn't be saying shit like that. The same that I would say equally if a leftist was saying it.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any anything else while we wait for Mr. Irishman? No? Great.
Notice. I just wanted to highlight in terms of like if you want to do this again, no worries as well, because like I said, I do tend to get the super chats rolling, as you say. But in terms of like the Biden shit, it's like all the COVID cover-ups of all of the scientists that came out, like that's probably the most egregious one. The Twitter file revelations of the FBI.
Well, so for the
post
COVID stuff,
22
right?
showed
Like
FBI,
all of the people that quote unquote came out, like on Joe Rogan show and everything, all of those people were wrong, right? There was no mass death event from any of the vaccines. There was no proof that there was any massive cover-up or anything else. The ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, all those alternative
what I'm saying
medicines
is
that were
just
pushed,
the
all of them were
methodology,
Mm-hmm.
completely
and
wrong.
just the
Just saying,
execution.
yeah.
The execution. I'm answering, trying to answer the $500 question. Respect the moolah, Destiny. Respect the cheese. So to answer this question, in terms of like the way they handle that, where scientists, like doctors and stuff, were put, they lost all their livelihoods and everything.
What does
And, like,
Biden
with
have to
the
do with that?
ivermectin thing,
Donald Trump
the
was president for the
ivermectin-
first part of the
the
whole
ivermectin was actually
COVID
turned
thing.
out to be one of these super drugs that we didn't even realize the potential.
Ivermectin is not a super drug.
And that was all suppressed.
There's a reason why
So in
retards like
terms of, like,
Scott,
with the free speech,
like Scott Adams,
like,
was
that's
literally having
why I
his
keep
body
pointing back
eaten
to the
alive by
system.
fucking cancer
And
because he
even
was trying
when
to
you
take
look at-
ivermectin for it.
Even when you look at Obama as well, like Obama was just as bad. Like people, there was a message where Obama actually bombed the U.S. citizen, all this kind of shit. So in terms of the
Wait,
dynamic,
Obama
it's the
bombed a
system,
US
not necessarily
citizen?
the individual, you're getting sidetracked by trying to demonize Trump rather than.
What do you mean by
actually
it?
point out his
Wait,
own flaws, because
who-
even if you criticize
yeah,
him for being a retard,
Okay,
you
let
have
him.
to-
Hold on. Let him ask the question. Destiny.
Well, who did
what were you
Obama
asking?
bomb a U.S. citizen? What's that all about?
Can we get back to my thing, because the thing that Destiny keeps dodging?
I want to know about the bombing of the U.S.
I want to know about the
citizen.
bombing of the U.S. citizen. This sounds like some serious shit.
But,
Yes,
yeah, can we
Obama
get-
did bomb a
I
US
will. I
citizen.
will get to that.
Yeah.
I will get to that in a sec. But because that was I was talking about that as the super chat that mentioned that. So in terms of the thing that you keep dodging is you're the one who's saying like that we do want to shield polling companies from inflating numbers, and then the outcome now is that these polling companies are not going to overinflate their numbers.
But they weren't
that's a good
overinflating the
outcome.
numbers before. Now the speech as chilled as they might be thinking twice
How'd
about
you know?
posting a poll that's bad about Trump.
How'd you know?
Because Seltzer was never
You
cooking
just
their
said
books.
because they weren't. You said that because they weren't.
They were never
overinflating
cooking
before.
their
How'd you know?
books. They were never cooking their books. There was no proof of it.
Yes, but even just in terms of the scientific gathering of the
No, there is no reason to
data.
change the scientific gathering
Yeah,
of anything.
no. You can
no,
do. You can do. Go
no,
into
you're wrong.
biased
No,
areas,
sorry,
do
you're wrong.
heavier
You're wrong
polling
and retarded.
concern.
You're
Okay,
wrong.
50
You're completely
pounds.
fucking wrong.
Yep.
50
Non
pounds.
sequitur,
The outcome-
not
the
responsive,
outcome is still
illogical,
the same.
irrational.
Yeah, 50 pounds from DBZM to say if an idiot has access to nukes, shouldn't we be scared?
You think there's actually a threat of the United States president nuking us or even a foreign nation? Because the main thing about nukes is like everybody has them as a deterrent so that other people don't use them. And not only
based
that,
on the premise of that, based on the premise of that question as well, that I would say, okay, with the whole Iran situation, you would have been pro putting boots on the ground.
What?
You don't want idiots to have
Okay.
nukes, right?
Okay, I'm
You
done.
don't want Islamists.
so
You don't
no-
want
well,
to have
hold
Islamists
on.
to have nukes, right?
So, Wick, you asked me for these, but you never used them, so I'm going to use them right now. Okay, this is once again in regards to the seditious six. Trump said that it was seditious behavior at the highest level. Each one of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. And then he also retweeted, "Hang them, George Washington would." You cannot find Biden saying anything like this. You cannot find Biden saying, "Hang my political enemies." In fact, whenever the lawsuits against Trump played out, Biden says, "I'm not going to comment on this because it would be inappropriate for me to do so." That's the difference between the two sides.
Okay, let's get to closing statements. I'm gonna let Destiny go first, and then we're gonna let you have the last word, Mr. Leprechaun. Go ahead, Destiny, and then we'll end this nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's stupid as fuck. I mean, there's no evidence of any other administration engaging in any of the behavior the Trump admin has engaged in. The only way these guys can try to make it passable is to endlessly nitpick, like I literally said they would at the very beginning of this conversation, and try to make it sound like basically nothing the president can do would ever have a bad chilling effect ever, and that's where we're at.
Okay, thanks for being here, Destiny.
I love you.
This has probably been the worst show I've ever done, but
Fuck
I
you.
appreciate you sticking around. It is pretty bad. Dev, go ahead.
So I do want to point out that, first of all, I appreciate Steelborn and Taryak being here, even though we obviously disagree on this. You know, good job stepping up. I want to make it known that I reached out to every single right winger that I know, that I used to be friends with, that I've debated before in the past. Like, none of them would show up. Sargon wouldn't show up. V wouldn't show up. Arch, who I'm still on good terms with, wouldn't show up. Aiden Paladin wouldn't show up. Some of these people fucking hate me now, and it's like, listen, guys, you think I've turned left wing? You think I'm like this retarded fucking asshole now? Come on here and destroy me. Come on to the debate and completely ruin me, like you've been talking about wanting to do for 2 fucking years now. None of them showed up because you're all fucking cowards.
And to be clear, just if I can, I want Dev to get ruined, and Destiny getting beaten on my show would be excellent TV. I would make so much money. It would go viral everywhere. That would be great for me. But also, didn't these guys also go on a stream and like just cope about even being invited?
Yeah, so as soon as I invited V made 2 videos about being invited but didn't want to show up, and then V and Aiden Paladin went on Broken Crown to talk about it. They wouldn't actually show up to the fucking debate.
Crazy.
Aw.
Anyway, but so in that sense, like, credit to the people who actually do show up. So I do appreciate you, Steelborn and Leprechaun Guy. I really do. Steelborn, close us out.
yeah. So the main problem with this prompt that I had initially was just the burden of proof problem, and it was like you know, if you're gonna have to demonstrate like real material effects that have actually been demonstrated to have happened to people and to the masses for Trump being the same Trump that we've always known that he was, a bombastic, you know, rhetorician who constantly says a bunch of dumb shit, right? I've always thought that he says a bunch of dumb shit. Now, to be fair, a lot of it's just kind of funny, but The problem is there's actually multiple different ways in which free speech could be threatened. There could be an actual, like, I guess you could say a formal versus an informal way of doing it. Informal would be kind of behind the scenes pressuring on platforms and major platforms to try and censor a bunch of information so that people can't get information. Whereas I think with the Trump administration, we've actually had a lot of the opposite of that, of saying,
Real quick,
we
that
want
first
as
thing
much
you cited
speech as
happened under
possible.
Trump, by the way. Okay.
Continue, Steelborn, please.
Yeah, I didn't interrupt your closing, Destiny. But you're gonna have it, like I said, informal versus formal actual threats to free speech. Now, informal is a lot harder to a lot of the times it's a lot harder to prove, which is why I don't usually try and bring that up in debates like this, because the problem with it is it's all supposed to be smoke and mirrors, and it's supposed to just be like a general feeling that the populace has. Most of the time, it's not even any legal action that gets taken. It's just kind of a general feeling that gets put on the populace. So it's kind of hard. It's a lot harder to demonstrate that that's the case. But with formal stuff, it is a lot easier to demonstrate that's the case. Now, I do think, to be fair, I can grant to Destiny and Dev that, Trump has done stuff. Maybe he has even, put an actual legitimate threat on free speech. But to say that he is the highest threat to free speech that we've seen over the last 40 years, considering the fact that we had the massive fucking COVID lockdowns, you weren't allowed to talk about
Under
any
Trump.
issues that
Under
you had
Trump.
with the vaccines. Under Trump, you weren't allowed to talk about the
The
vaccines?
lockdowns were under Trump. I'm just reminding you.
The lockdowns, that's great. The lockdowns aren't what I was referencing to.
Oh, I thought you
Didn't
said
you just say
lockdowns. My
the-
bad.
No, I'm saying no. I didn't mean the lockdowns as in like you weren't allowed to leave your house. I mean the lockdowns on talking about COVID online.
That
there was
happened
many
under Trump,
right wingers
too.
who were told that. Great, I can just grant that it happened anyways.
Hold on, just
Sorry,
you
my bad.
gotta let him finish.
My
Destiny.
bad, my bad.
Yeah, dude, stop fucking interrupting my closing. What the fuck? I never interrupted your closing.
My bad.
Yeah,
Have
stop.
some
Yeah,
fucking
don't do
etiquette for a
that.
debate.
Most unparliamentary language.
Would you say me interrupting you is chilling your closing? I'm sorry, I'm done. Mute me.
No, it's just pissing. It's actually heating up my closing. Thank you very much, Destiny.
Get your
Anyway.
coats, boys.
Fucking Teriak. Anyways, the problem though is it's a lot easier to manipulate the masses when you're doing stuff behind the scenes, as opposed to just come out and saying exactly how you feel. Now, granted, he says stuff that I disagree with. I've never been like an always Trumper, forever Trumper, right? I never thought that he was like the greatest president to ever live. But to say that he's the greatest threat to free speech when we have, I don't know, like people like, media heads getting assassinated for doing nothing more than talking, I think that's a greater threat to free speech. When you have, people taking up arms against people speaking, that's a little more of a threat than the president trying to sue some pollsters or some media personalities because he doesn't like them because they're mean. And also your psychological state of how nobody's ever done this before. And it's like, yeah, okay, and what the fuck does that have to do with anything? Presidents do shit that nobody's ever done all the time. With that, I'll end my closing.
Yeah, where can people find you if they want to find you?
Steelborn on YouTube and on X.
Check him out, gang. Name's in his background there. Okay, Traviak, go ahead.
Yeah, Teriak, Taoreyyak,
Alright.
Teriak, YouTube, social, lots of kind of shit. Appreciate you having me on. Like I said, I literally just woke up. I got a phone call saying get the fuck on a panel. So, yeah, in terms of the main question, like, is this a chilling effect on free speech? Again, what does that even fucking mean? And like I said, if it means that we want polling companies to stop inflating numbers or to make sure that they don't inflate numbers, this actually gives the outcome where they're going to be able to legitimately show you with the scientific and the data, and we can go hurrah and eureka and hail science, all this kind of shit. Worst case scenario, I can just do the noble eye. And like I said, in terms of like more than willing to have like further conversations as well. I do like philosophy, theology, religion, obviously, like in terms of that. But also like I've got like a few kind of like hot kind of like takes, especially around different things like from fucking like dating. So like women should pay on the first date to like philosophy in terms of like atheism is dead and everything in between. Like I said, politics is probably my weakest one. But again, I appreciate you having me on. Like I said. More than happy to come back again.
Okay, no, thank you for being here, especially last minute. I do appreciate it.
Can I add one thing real quick? It's not in addition to my closing at all. It's just I wanted to thank Destiny and Dev and Teriak for coming out and you for hosting. And I wanted to especially actually thank Teriak, though, for just last minute him just agreeing to do this real quick because my other partner fell asleep.
Okay. We got callers if you guys want to take callers, but you can go fuck off if you want. It's up to you guys. Right?
I can hang out for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hang out for a bit.
Sure.
was gonna take a
bring them
quick
on one at a
piss real quick.
time, and we'll see what they got.
Yeah, if that's okay. I do want to take a piss real quick.
Hey, Aaron.
Yeah, go piss.
What up,
What's up?
Devo?
What's up,
What's up?
Aaron? What do you got?
I got a few things. Mainly, I wanted to ask these two, specifically what they know about the UCMJ. Like specifically when it comes to the whole seditious six situation.
What you have to? Which two are you talking about?
Steelborn and Teriak.
Oh,
Oh, Stillbird's not
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Aaron's one of my mods. How's it going, man?
Okay.
Chilling.
Why don't you just tell us? And sorry, Stillborn had to pee. So.
Oh, no, you're good. So specifically, the UCMJ does actually give the stipulation that if there are unlawful orders, it is within the service members' like right and duty to disregard those orders. Especially when we were talking about the Venezuelan boat strikes, especially that double tap, absolutely disgusting.
Any opinions on that from the peanut gallery here?
I have to wait for them to come back.
yeah. I assume me and Dev probably agree with
Hey,
that.
Stillborn.
I have an earbud in, so I heard everything that he said. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
okay
cool.
with people. I'm okay with people's, I can't talk today. I need a beer. Anyways, no, I'm okay with like military refusing unlawful orders.
Okay, cool.
That's wait. What? What
So-
does that have to do with anything?
So what's the issue?
That's-
So here's the thing. What do you believe is my issue specifically with Trump or any of these retards in saying that these people are being seditious?
I didn't say that I had an issue with you. Did you ask
No, I asked you
question?
what you
Can you
think.
repeat the question?
I asked you what. No. I'm asking you if you can steel man my argument.
I didn't disagree with your position though.
Yeah, I'm just asking you if you can, or at least if you can agree.
That okay,
I'm asking-
so correct
I'm
me if
asking-
I'm wrong.
I'm
I
asking
wanna
for
make
a
sure I
sanity.
understood it right.
I'm asking
so-
for a sanity check from you.
Yeah, so you're basically stating that you have an issue with the president trying to charge people with sedition for basically just announcing that the military has this ability to, and law enforcement officers can and should deny and not partake in orders that are unjustified or illegal or unconstitutional.
Correct.
Okay. Is that what you got for him, Aaron?
No,
Otherwise, I'm gonna move
No,
you out.
my issue is that because he's doing stuff like this multiple times, where he's just placing pressure on people because they're doing things he doesn't like, and it's specifically because he wants to push in the envelope as many times as he can. It's an issue I have with him, with the administration, especially when we look at how the DHS is pushing for people's identification through specifically for being dissident, but acting like they're being violent felons and stuff like that. It's insane to me to where I'm worrying about whether or not I want to stay on Discord because Discord wants people to verify themselves, and the DHS might be trying to request that information through administrative subpoenas. Not even court ordered or like any grand jury subpoenas. These are administrative subpoenas where they don't have to go through any of the checks and balances. Is that not an issue?
So you're saying that your issue is because
He has to
Discord
reform it in the
wanting
dumbest
you
way
to
possible
give you-
now. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just trying to make sure that I understood the question, Destiny. God, forgive me for not trying to strawman people.
Hey,
I
You're
wanted
not-
to
it's-
try to-
it's a very simple question.
Do you not think it creates a chilling
Sure,
effect
sure,
that the
sure.
government,
Sure.
without going
Real quick,
through any
Destiny.
other branches
Real
of
quick,
government,
real quick.
can request his information from Discord because he says things they don't like? That's a pretty fucking simple thing to understand.
Okay, yeah, that's great. You summarized it very well. I don't think the government should do that. Sure, I can just grant it. I can just
Yeah,
agree.
I think
I don't think the government should do that.
It's- Yeah, and I think this is a
Last
problem that
statement,
we keep
Aaron, then we
seeing
gotta
multiple
let you
times.
go.
Yeah, I'm simply stating that this is a problem we're seeing multiple times with the current administration, and it is something we should be like actively, like, just telling the administration, no, we don't want this, and to the point that it may be the point where we have to impeach him,
Okay.
or
Well,
even worse if he continues to defy court orders.
Careful.
Thank you for coming on, Aaron. Really appreciate you, buddy.
No problem. Love you all.
Usurp, what do you got?
I guess this question's for the two conservative guys. Do either you don't have to give details? Do you guys are you guys working or in school?
I work.
You work. like, do you think that you'd ever get by at your job by like acting as obtuse and retarded as you did in this panel? Because like I feel like a lot of people were asking you pretty direct questions the entire time, and you were just like either not answering the questions directly, you were going off on a side tangent, or I hope you were pretending to be as dumb as you were. Because I don't understand how people like you are able to survive in real life. Like I can't imagine how you guys pay taxes.
That's great. You're not actually making an argument. All you're doing is just doing it ad hominem. You can just say you're retarded, therefore you shouldn't be allowed to ask questions.
Yeah, like, are you retarded is not a legitimate question, sir.
No, what I'm asking,
most
my
unparliamentary language.
You can't even follow this question. You can't even follow
this one. It's most unparliamentary language, sir.
Do you actually think that you'd be able to get by in any other aspect in your life by acting this obtuse?
No, bro.
Yeah, I think I do it just fine, sure.
So you're not going to answer that question too? So, like, you see
He
what I'm
said
trying to
yes.
say here?
I just did. I said yes, sure.
He said yes, he can.
Okay, so like, what job do you think you'd be able to get by acting this, like, where you wouldn't get fired?
President of the United States. I'm sorry.
A press secretary.
No, but seriously, like, what do you do? What do you do?
No, I agree, Destiny. And doesn't that mean that the system's fucked?
No, not
See the
necessarily.
way that, like, who's avoiding questions now?
Wait, okay, so you're admitting that you guys are, like, ignoring questions and not answering them and being obtuse, right?
I was just trying not to interrupt people. Do you want me to actually answer the question?
Like,
most trades?
Okay.
Like most trades. Like, you think you can be an electrician and not follow your union leader's direction, your boss's direction, the client's direction?
I got some really bad news from you, Usurp the Chief. Having served in the military, you can do a lot.
Yeah, I was about to say you should look into the military.
You can
so you
do
like what? You think like the
lot.
military can like what? Okay, I'm not saying
I'm just
like
telling you.
can't-
I served with some people working on aircraft and working as a crypto linguist. That, it was bad.
Like, dude, haven't you met most of like the pickup artists and the red pillars and listen to the shit that they say? They say some fucking
I would say
retarded
the
shit.
same thing to them.
They're getting by just fine though. It seems.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're allowed to make money being a fucking dancing monkey on screen, but when you actually get into the real world and you actually have to have a conversation with another human being across from you and you try to act like this, they're going to look at you like either A, you have two heads, or they're just going to walk away because you're not a serious person to actually engage with.
Usurp, thank you for calling in.
I'm incredulous to your incredulity of my success.
So Usurp, thank you for calling in.
Most unparliamentary, sir.
Okay, Rinyald, what do you got?
Okay, hey. Am I audible?
Yes,
sounds fine to me.
You are audible.
Okay. So I'm kind of wondering. I heard this cope a lot saying that like, oh well, the checks and balances are going to protect us from Donald Trump trying to do everything. We acknowledge that Donald Trump is like a unitary executive theorist, right? He wants control over like DHS, DOJ, all of these different three-letter agencies.
I don't personally think that that's what Trump wants to do, but.
Even though he's like literally giving people litmus tests over like, do you agree? Like, what's your favorite Trump policy? And if they don't answer correctly, they get fired.
Yeah, demonstrate that happening for me.
How about when Kash Patel was asked repeatedly if
seen
FBI
that?
agents were getting fired just for being part of investigations related to Donald Trump?
And I said that you shouldn't be allowed. I said that was bad.
But
and
that we just
do it.
guessed, but we demonstrated it happening. Donald Trump, you don't think Donald Trump wants exclusive control? He said this multiple times over and over again. He's passed the dumbest threshold test you guys have made, or the highest one, where Donald Trump said over and over again, I basically get to make all these decisions. He thinks he gets to make every decision within every department.
Yeah, so?
He's literally said I have an Article
what's
2
the point?
ability to do whatever the hell I want. Right. So to say like, oh, our checks and balances are going to save us. Donald Trump isn't going to be able to do anything, even though he thinks he has a direct hand in the DOJ, the DHS, the CIA, the FBI.
Right? It wasn't my position. That's an internal critique.
I love it.
Okay.
It's a
so
good one.
my ultimate question is, do you believe that the Trump administration, like the Trump administration, has been a bigger threat to freedom of speech than any other presidency?
Than any other presidency? No. Not in history.
Or other? I'm sorry. In relation.
Oh shit! Are you guys fighting up here? Hold on.
Hello, Raider. Hello there.
Is he shooting a dude or is he shooting a bot? What do you think? I don't know.
The presidency. So just to be clear, we have Donald Trump revoking people's student visas. We have them removing like security clearances and funding grants from different law firms for representing their opposition in court. We have him literally failing to get criminal indictments against his political opponents, like Letitia James, like James Comey, like the Seditious Six. And then your examples of Biden censorship is him making recommendations to Twitter companies, which the Trump administration did more, and the information board, which was literally making non-binding recommendations. How are those two things even remotely comparable? Good answer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I-
Rinyal, for calling
again,
in.
I
We're only
don't
going to do
actually-
a few more of these.
I don't,
Love you guys.
don't
Here.
comprehend in
Yeah,
terms of
let me hop in just for a
just
second
like
because
fundamentally.
Just Dev. I
Well,
want
hold
to
on.
hear from Dev.
You-
Dev,
you
Dev,
asked
Dev.
us
yeah,
the question.
we
Go
didn't
ahead.
we didn't get the opportunity to actually go back and go over this, but I did look into this, Steelborn. You talked about the Thomas Drake situation under Obama, right? You brought that as an
Yeah.
example of Obama overreaching. Yeah, you know that was Bush, right?
It was under Obama's presidency.
You know that he did the actual action that he was charged with happened in 2002, and he was investigated in 2007 by the FBI, right?
I can grant that I didn't know that. Sure.
Like, is this?
But the difference is, here's the difference. The one thing that I don't
grant
do.
everything that
Because I
Donald Trump
wanna-
has done. Why are we granting everything and not actually engaging on like which has been better or which has been more threatening? Seems like every time
Yeah, but
you bring
that's
up
what I wanna
something
get
that
to.
Donald Trump has done against the First Amendment, you're like, I'll grant that, I'll grant that, I'll grant that, I'll grant that, I'll grant that. Every time they gave a counter argument as to what Joe Biden did, you said, I'll grant that, I'll grant that, I'll grant that, I'll grant that. But like, you haven't even engaged on like, okay, if you grant all of this, there's no world where you could think Joe Biden was a bigger
Yeah,
threat.
that's what I'm trying to do.
It's an internal
That's what I'm
critique,
trying to do.
retard.
So, like, how are we judging? Yeah, like, what are we judging the good and the bad on? Like, for example,
Ooh, a meta ethics question
there's
now.
plenty.
In furtherance of
Well,
silencing,
hold on
in
here.
furtherance of
Let me actually
silencing freedom of
finish.
speech, Gary.
Let me actually finish where I'm going with this. Okay,
This was the theme of the whole debate.
This is a meta-ethical conversation.
Let me finish my point.
Asking questions, but not actually facilitating actual answers.
Listen, I will lay
It's not
down
an
for you
ethical
the
question.
Rainbow
Question, or
Brick
is it just
Road,
rhetorical
okay? So you know
questions?
exactly where we're fucking going. All right. So
Okay, more
in
rhetorical
2007, the FBI is investigating this guy. The case continued into Obama's term, yes, because he didn't go to trial till 2010, but it begun under Bush. And what this shows is that Obama was actually willing to be hands off and let cases play out as they would, and not put his thumb on the scale.
Because he's not a unitary executive theorist like Donald
Cool
Trump,
story,
by the
bro.
way. That's
Cool
the whole
story,
thing of
yeah.
Project
Again,
2025. Just
like,
remember
you
that.
have to explain. Yeah,
Thank
you
you,
have to
Wick.
explain like why this is necessarily a bad thing of like doing collective control and all this kind of shit. Do you know what I mean? Which again, you've not demonstrated. You've
Why
said,
is
oh, he's
what a-
doing shit, whereas like he wants. Yeah, like it's basically saying it's like, oh, like I believe in monarchy versus I believe in a democracy. It's like you're trying to say one is worse than the other, but you're not explaining how, and then you're also saying that it's all relative, bro.
I don't think anybody said that.
Well,
Go off, King.
do you want to be under the UK crown again, buddy?
Again, how's
Look,
that addressing
Teriak
what I'm
wears
talking
the
about?
Teriak wears the traditional
Like,
Irish hat,
yeah.
which is the English
Like,
boot.
I could be a Martian. I could be a Martian for all you care. That's still like what you've been doing. You just demonstrate what we've been doing the whole night, where you're not actually engaging in the argument. You're just engaging in the ad hoc. And then, ironically, we get accused.
Are we
of
having a
being
monarchy
retards and all
debate
stuff,
now?
But like, they were the ones saying that they couldn't understand my accent.
Nobody said that, bro.
No
Did you
one
hallucinate
said
that?
The
Zip,
dude
zip,
was
go
literally
ahead.
asking questions saying, like, do you deliberately misunderstand, or like, is this a blur and all this kind of shit? That didn't just happen.
That was a question to your cognitive abilities, not your accent.
Yes, but you're the ones that saying that you can't understand the accents, even though I'm
Who said?
clearly
Wait, when
understand
did we ever say we can't understand the accent? Nobody said that.
multiple times to avoid the points that I've been making.
I've asked you multiple times what points you thought I was
Just
avoiding, and I've
go
never
to
said
the-
I
go
don't
to the
understand
next
your
spot.
accent.
Yeah.
Potato jokes are jokes. They're not about your accent.
Wonderful. Zip,
Alright,
zip. What do
okay,
you
now.
got for these gentlemen?
Yeah, I had a question for probably Steelborn more than Teriak. Steelborn, you said in one of your closings that you weren't sure, or it seemed like you were unsure why they keep bringing up that the things that Trump is doing are unprecedented. You were saying that that presidents do new things all the time. Do you have an idea why they were saying that the things Trump is doing are new?
I know. I understood what the point of it was to try and draw that, like, look, he's doing this thing that's unprecedented of attacking or bringing up civil litigations against media personalities. But the problem is there's nothing against the law about him doing that. So it's like, so
Okay,
yes.
so wait. So in
granted,
that
he's
case,
doing
do
something
you think that maybe the
unprecedented,
reason that they were you think it's possible the reason they were bringing that up then wasn't to make the point that it was against the law? Do you think there might have been a different reason that they brought that up?
I don't see how it's a threat to free speech if it's not against the law.
So
Hold on,
you
you
can't
got-
threaten free
Might
speech
their point
unless
have
it's against the
been-
law? What? You don't even believe this. Why are you even saying this?
Steelborn,
So
might
if
the
I made
point
a
have
law
been
that it was
that
okay to
because he's
silence
doing
all
unprecedented
Republicans, to
things,
fire any Republican
and
who
they're
spoke out
threatening.
against Democrats, it's okay because it's legal?
Well, the question is of legality. That's the whole point. The question of the prompt.
No, it wasn't.
It's legality.
Wait, I'm sorry. Where is legality in the prompt?
No.
I'm sorry. Hold on a sec. Was this supposed to be a moral debate?
No, it's a debate on a
No,
chilling
Steelborn,
effect.
the prompt says, is Trump the greatest threat to free speech? So they're bringing up the things that make Trump different from other people to demonstrate that he's the greatest threat compared to other people. Right? Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
and the problem that I have was that we never could actually get a consistent standard other than it creates a chilling effect for people when Trump says bad stuff. And when Trump
Well, they're
does
saying
mean
that
stuff that they don't
he-
like,
him
it's chilling.
creating
Yeah,
a-
but do you
in
think,
the
do you think that when Biden said stuff that people disagree with, then like said stuff like, or when Biden was saying stuff like, you have to go get vaccinated, there was a bunch of people who didn't want to do that. You don't think that would, like, that just that constantly
Well,
repeating
Steelborn,
that?
Oh.
That
Well,
wasn't a
I
might
love
have
you.
been
I love
repeating
you.
that
Didn't want to get
because
vaccinated or something?
he might be
Yeah, and
making
again,
a
like, the
greater
example
chilling
they
effect
gave-
than other people have.
Okay, I'm good. All right.